Texas of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stotts Norsworthy.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. Yes, it is May the 5th. Nice to have you on this Wednesday. If we could bottle up this weather and keep it like this forever, I think that we would do it. And we got a busy day. We got the Grizzlies in Minnesota tonight. We got the Redbirds with good weather at AutoZone Park, game 2 of the year. We've got a hot rumor that is going on, and we're going to do a little bit with it tomorrow. We'll discuss it a bit today. There is a gentleman named Greg Pfluger who lives in the Great Northwest, who basically has come out and said, per sources, that Boise State will be joining the American Athletic Conference possibly by this July. And San Diego State could be in the picture. 2 others could be in the picture.
Go Corso double yo. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know all of that.
We'll have Bob Beeler on tomorrow. He's the voice of Boise, who said he saw the tweet. He doesn't know anything about it, but we'll sort of go over exactly.
Of course we will deal in rumor and innuendo, Dave. It's
talk
radio.
Yeah.
What do you think we're here for?
Right. Exactly.
Fact-based. No, Dave, good afternoon, Dave. That's great news. I don't think completely unexpected, but one thing also it kicks off. Far Talk Radio. Guess what it kicks off? Into May and June. Conference realignment and upheaval in college football.
I know it. Well,
if nothing else, we'll start it.
Let's just speculate on this for a second, okay?
Of course we'll speculate.
Just for the sheer fun of it, okay?
For the giggles aspect of it.
Let's just say San Diego State. So he says, by the way, San Diego State, Boise State, and possibly 2 others. I would think it would be just one other. And the only reason I say that is there's 11 now, right? When UConn left, there's an odd number. Are
we talking just football, or are you talking all sport, or is it just a football prism?
It's all sports anyway, because you have Wichita State playing only basketball. You have, other sports, but no football. And you've got Navy playing only football. And so you're at 11 with both sports.
So are we bringing in Boise and SD State for everything?
I think so. I think you're bringing it in for everything. So let's say
13.
It's 3, because that makes more sense, right? 14.
You know who I want.
You want Arkansas State. That's not going to happen, because they're going to go west. They're going to try to have a Western division. So here's my thinking. I think it's one of 2. And I could be wrong. I'm just guessing. But I'm saying that I'm guessing. I think it's San Diego State. I think it's Boise State. And I think it's either BYU or Colorado State. I think it's those 3 schools that are all really good in both sports and would add. Let's just, for the sake of trying to make this a power conference, right? A true Power 6. If you added BYU, San Diego State, and Boise State to that mix, that's a heck of a football conference. That's a good basketball conference.
You're there, and especially and there are some that saying that the presumed expansion of the college football playoff, it might just be 4 to 6. It might be 4 to 8. It could even be 10. Well, under any expansion math, the AAC's there, and especially with these additions.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to get television to buy in, so they're paying a price for it. But I'm just writing these things down. So we're saying BYU, San Diego State, Boise State. You're going to add Houston and SMU, right?
To a West.
Yes, Houston,
Tulsa.
SMU. Tulsa is going to be in that mix. So now we need one more. We're going to have Navy, ECU, the Florida schools, UCF, SF.
Tulane.
Well, you might put Tulane in the West. Let's think about this, or Memphis, one or the other. Temple is going to be there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now, this is a pretty good Trivial Pursuit question, and I don't know the answer. What side of the Mississippi does New Orleans actually lie on? Because it's really close.
Ooh, I think
The east side, right?
I think it's the east side.
Okay, so like Memphis, it's east of the Mississippi.
Yes, but on the Mississippi.
But yeah.
Who's the other Eastern school? I'm missing one here for sure. Navy, East Carolina, UCF, USF, Temple. Those are clearly east.
Cincinnati.
Cincy. That's simple. Okay, so, and here's the two schools on the Mississippi River. What do you do with them? You're going to put one in the east and one in the west. Where does Memphis go? Which makes more sense? It's tough.
I don't mean this is any denigration to Tulane, but with TV such a emphasis in this and so important in this, you would naturally want to accommodate Memphis in TV times and start times. You wouldn't want Memphis with that TV market and that good draw that they are having to tip off at 9 o'clock to accommodate BYU or San Diego State. You'd probably have to make Tulane pay that price. And I don't mean that ugly.
Right. And it's a real split because I think as you look at any configuration of what is still in your conference, there are two schools that Memphis is really a rival with, and UCF is not. I'm not even counting that. So they're Houston and they're Cincinnati, I think.
Yeah.
And I think Cincinnati is the bigger one. It's the longer running one, and you got UCF in that division. So I'm going to put Memphis in that division, and I'm going to put Tulane in the West.
Okay, so you wouldn't put Houston in the West to go with SMU and –
Oh, I would. No, I would. I was saying the two at this point, those are your two main rivals in conference play right now. But I think Cincinnati is the bigger overall rival based on all the years we've been in the same league
all the
with
conferences.
Each other. Yeah. So and also UCF, which is played a role in the last 4 or 5 years as two teams playing for championships. They're in that same division. So, yeah, I think that's the way I would do it. I would have Houston, SMU.
It's very exciting.
BYU, San Diego State, Boise, Tulsa, and Tulane in one division. Navy, ECU, UCF, USF, Temple, Cincinnati, and Memphis. The only one thing is that would be sort of an issue is when it came to basketball, you would probably have to insert Wichita State in the East, right, to replace Navy.
Yeah, someone. Yeah, you would. And also the basketball component of this, and I would be fine with it. I didn't like it when it went to the Thursday start, Sunday men's final. I don't like anybody's finals on Sunday. I wish everybody would get out of the way of that or start a lot earlier so we're not running right up to, the reveal. But with BYU and the respect for them and the adherence to the faith of LDS, you would have to have your finals on Saturday.
Right.
So it would be Wednesday starts of tournaments and Saturday completions.
Also, there's a lot of Sunday games, honestly, in the American right now, and BYU would have to be excluded from that particular package. Mm-hmm. But that's easy to do. I mean, that's easy to do.
None of this is a deal breaker.
No. But it is interesting. And I guess, I mean, if you really tried, you could say, you know what, we're moving Tulane for basketball into the East, and we'll put Wichita State in the West. You could do that if you had to, I suspect, because they are separate entities.
But I think Memphis and this market and the TV draw that it is would have to be accommodated with wheelhouse start times.
Well,
tip times.
I think if you put them in the East, that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. Anyway, just something to throw out there that seems to be, it's one guy that's tweeted it out, and he says he's got sources.
That's how it all starts, Dave. One lone guy tweets it out.
But I will say this. Before Mike Oresco screwed up and absolutely blew the finish to that basketball season for several parties. Until he did. 2 weeks before his dumb move, he was on this air, and he said, it won't happen this year, but there's a good chance that there will be expansion. And he said, without us prompting, he said it could be 4 teams. He threw out the number 4. Now, that doesn't make sense to me, even though this guy Pfluger did put San Diego State, Boise, plus the possibility for 2 more. But 15 sure seems unwieldy to me.
Well, but that's kind of the way it's going to go, I think. I think you'll see you certainly nobody's going to boot anybody. The SEC's not going back to 12. If it does anything, it will go from 14 to 16. Same for Big 12, that's at 10, and same for Big 10, that's at how many? I mean,
Big 10,
14.
Big 10's got
15.
14.
Yeah, 14.
14.
Yeah.
Nobody's got 15,
So
they? No.
But they would go to 16 before nobody's ever going backwards.
No, no one is going down unless the only thing that I could see that would occur was let's just say, and we know it's got to most likely happen in 2s, but let's say Texas decided to go to the Pac-12.
Oh, here we go, Drew. We've launched it. We've officially launched conference realignment rumors and gossip.
I'm just saying this to you, knowing Oklahoma takes over total leadership of that conference, and they go, you know what, guys?
And they're trying to.
If you don't do anything, we'll stay. And so they've got 10 now, right? Isn't that what they have? That's why they play 9 conference games in football.
They have 10 now.
If you did that, and Oklahoma said, guys, all right, we lose Texas. Don't worry about it. You got us. Let's stay. Let's stay at 9 and see how that works. And we'll share that 1/10
we need to do
of the pot.
Yeah.
That's the only way I could see that contraction could occur.
And then at some point, the others will follow suit. And Mike Slive was the first one that said on these airwaves, why is 16 such the magical number? Why not 14? And in a blink of an eye, it was 14.
Right.
Rick Perry out there running for president blabbed it out in Iowa about A&M's admission into the SEC, and then Mizzou followed suit, and it was at 14. Now, it is very hard. You can get Greg Sankey. He could do a doctoral thesis on this, and he can talk at length, and some of it is, your eyes almost water. It's kind of mind-numbing how hard it is to integrate new members into the league, that it is difficult. And, boy, he'll give a treatise on it, and it's painstaking to listen to.
I just think if the American did go to 14 with 7-7, there's already the path that's been laid by all these by the Big Ten and by the SEC for years, and it has worked. And I personally, if I were Mike Oresco and this is the way it worked out, and they did it the way we're talking about, I would play 9 conference games so that you're playing your 6 in your division, and then you're going to rotate, and you're going to have 3 from the other division. So it doesn't take so long to finally play a team in your league.
No kidding. Where you don't even feel like you're in a league with them. Hey, it doesn't feel like you're even kind of contemporaries. Well, it's so distant.
A great example of that is Ole Miss and Missouri. You made the point. I guess it was last year when you went to Missouri for the first time.
2019, the only time as a member of the SEC. Right. And this year, Ole Miss, we go back to Knoxville. Hadn't been there since 2010. Ole Miss in Tennessee, and that used to be. It was neither's biggest rivalry, but it was a fun rivalry and had a lot of colorful aspects to it. But I just don't think they should. I don't think it should be 11 years in between trips to Knoxville. Now they played in Oxford in 2014, but hadn't played in Knoxville at Neyland Stadium since 2010, and got the doors blown off that day. It was probably Derek Dooley's finest hour. This hour of our show brought to you every day by really fine people at Lexus of Memphis. Some Tennessee fans there. They bring you this hour of our show every day. They're at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity May sales event. Roll those windows down and put the top back today. If you've ever thought you'd look great in the Lexus of Memphis, they think you would look great in one as well. Great offers on all 2021 models and always special lease options. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
I will head to Minneapolis. The Grizzlies, back in a tie for 8th place, will play the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight in a game I think we could call this must-win. No Triple J. No Jaren
In about
Jackson
30
Jr.
seconds, we will call it must-win.
And I don't know if that means they revert back to the form they had when they didn't have Triple J. Maybe part of the chemistry issues have been trying to integrate him into your lineup. I don't necessarily think that is the case. I don't, but we shall see. But I don't think you can afford to lose this one or the next one in Detroit. In my mind, those two are got to win if you're going to not be a play-in team but a playoff team. And frankly, give New Orleans credit last night. They had to win last night, and they did. They beat Golden State, helping out Memphis. But they've put themselves back in a position. It is slight, and they only have one game left with Memphis, whom they own. But they have put themselves back into the conversation for being a play-in team, which means San Antonio, Memphis, Golden State, one of those three.
Look out for Sacramento, Dave. And the Grizzlies play them twice.
And they could be, one of those teams could be looking in and out of it if they're not careful. That's why it is critical to win tonight on the road in Minneapolis.
My top story of the day, must win tonight, are the anatomy of the collapse. It is on. This is how it starts. It would definitely be launched. Sacramento, I think, is the team to fend off. No Jaren tonight. He's tired. Of course he is. Magic number just to make the playoffs stands at 5. And a loss tonight would be real bad.
In defense of Triple J, because
he's not making the call.
I like the way you put it, but he's not the one going, I don't want to play tonight.
That's right.
This goes back to Zach Kleiman or Taylor Jenkins or a combination of the two.
And they're Duke and Ivy League MBAs. They came up with the quotient for rest.
Yeah, I'm baffled by the whole thing. There's no doubt I am baffled by all of that.
Not top story of the day.
Well, it's really a good story. It's not a bad story at all. And that is, it just happened a little while ago. Brady White, who was undrafted, who I heard Ryan Silverfield say, and I heard, I'm trying to remember who else made this point, that he would be an asset in any quarterback room in the National Football League, whether he was playing or
any boardroom, anything.
Had a visor on the sideline, but that in that quarterback room, as a guy breaking down film and watching and looking at tendencies and understanding offense, that he is a total asset and that he should get a shot. And they actually thought that he might be a 7th-round, third-day NFL draft pick. Well, he was not. And I was worried about that. I shouldn't worry about him because he's going to be a major success at whatever he plans to do.
He is, Dave, and sometimes when you get into the latter stages of the third day, you don't want to get drafted. Then you can pick and choose a little bit and not get stuck somewhere. And now he's with the Titans, and it would be just a great story. But it's going to be a great story regardless of what he does or how he does it. My not top story, The Redbirds finally played baseball at 3rd and Union last night. Ended up on the bad side of a 7-5 loss, but they played. Season number 21 at AutoZone Park took a while to get started. Last year was very different, and it's much different in a lot of aspects of things at 3rd and Union. Much different than Y2K when it opened. About 15,000 less people last night, and times about 50,000 in excitement. There's a lot of work for the Redbirds to do. Baseball isn't dead. It's not dead in Memphis, but it definitely has to be revitalized in Memphis and in a lot of places. And the Redbirds are essentially starting over, and I hope they do well.
I think we should thank our lucky stars. Honestly, I never felt like we would not be a AAA city, but there was a restructuring, and we know there are at least 46 teams across America that for years have had minor league baseball as part of their city's sports fabric, and they don't have it anymore.
How would you like to be Wichita and spend all that money and not make the cut? For the new
Incredible.
ballpark to get the Zephyrs to move up there. New Orleans. New Orleans is never getting minor league baseball again.
Probably not. I agree. It's startling. And the Wichita thing is amazing because that ballpark is beautiful, and it's a baseball town. Wichita State is a perennial baseball powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we should feel incredibly fortunate. And you mentioned the difference in fans. Well, you can only have 3,000 or so now. That's all that Craig Unger is allowed to bring in at the moment. Now, that could change in the next few weeks, too, and I suspect it will as the vaccine numbers go up in Shelby County. I think that the attendance numbers or the capacity will be allowed to go up as well.
The governor said today the Predators and the Grizzlies should have full buildings right now. No qualifiers around it.
I know. Well, he certainly is ahead of the curve of some of the politicians that are in control, and they also control, for the most part, the county health departments. So that aren't under the auspices of the governor. And there's six.
Did you see today where Broadway, famed Broadway in New York City, will reopen full capacity September 14th? 100% real life. September 14th. What is September 14th around here, Drew?
That's my birthday.
Wow.
There you go.
I'll be honest with you. I had thought they were opening up New York for Broadway plays and everything else in July, but they moved that now to September.
Limited.
Oh, limited in July. Okay.
In full money. And
yeah.
That's right.
Let me just tell you this. Limited on Broadway, do you know how much that'll cost to go to? Oh, baby. I'm waiting until September. I can tell you that right now. There's all kinds of crazy stories that we'll get into today, including Ja calling himself a top 5 point guard. There were 3.
Why wouldn't he say that?
Well, he should.
And how would you feel, Grizz fam, hashtag, if he went out there and said, I really think I'm bottom third?
No. I honestly think if you're asked that question, like he was by the people from TNT, I believe that's where all this began, right?
Shaq asked him.
Shaq asked him, right. Well, sure, he should say that. I'm a top 5 guy. He should believe in himself. So I'm not putting him down. I'm really not.
Should be fired today if he said, I think I'm 28th.
But I counted here. I think he's 11th. And we'll get.
But if he had said, I heard a guy on the radio in Memphis the other day say I was 11th. I think he's right.
Then we'd all be mad at him.
We would be,
except for me.
Once again, Dave. We ask them questions and they give us honest, candid, non-scripted, non-Taylor Jenkins, non-Gus Malzahn, non-Coach Speak answers, and we don't like their answers.
Right. Well,
when they tell us the truth, we don't ever like it.
I don't mind it at all because I think that's what he's got to say. I'm just saying to you, we who then sort of talk it out. Try to be realistic, trying to figure out where he'll be. And he could be a top 5 guy before it is all said and done. But he's got 10 guys, by my count, in front of him, and we'll go over
Keep your list handy.
Keep
your list handy, and Drew and I will have our list tomorrow. Keep your list handy. I like the idea.
Okay. All right.
Very good.
All right. We are busy today. We got TJ Reeves coming in a little bit. We'll talk about the Buccaneers draft, the NFL draft, all told, a little golf. We'll do a whole bunch. We'll do a lot of golf with John Goen. Did you see the amount of money that they say Phil Mickelson could make in 1 year on that Super Tour, Super League, whatever they're calling that? Did you see it?
Phil's rolling around with $10,000 in both front pockets, too.
$100 million for a year?
He's cash heavy.
Gosh.
He's not dealing any Dogecoin. What's the correct pronunciation of it? It looks like doggy.
It's Doge.
The D-O-G coin?
Doge.
Good.
Yeah. I did
You got any Dogecoin on you, Dave?
When you were gone last week, we did a whole thing on NFT.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I know y'all did.
I got to ask you something.
I listened to it on the podcast. I swear I did.
Cool. Do you know how many people I had a call to ask if they understood NFT enough to talk about it on the air? I am not kidding. And I finally got my guy in Chicago, and he had to go through all of Raymond James to be okay to do it. It's crazy.
Good Lord.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I still don't know Bitcoin.
Arizona
either.
emissions insurance, Dave. Everybody's got to look out for that.
I don't know. We speaking of business, we got Rick Horo at 4:30. Evan Stockton, remember that name. He's a proud Syracuse grad, and he's the new voice of the Memphis Redbirds. He will join us at 5 o'clock at 5:50. There will be crunch time. So we are busy, and we are now officially underway on this Wednesday on Sports Time.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Attention foodies, there's a great new place to eat in a great restored building. South Hall Cafe is now open for breakfast, brunch, and lunch in the former Tobacco Corner. Chef Jesus Ramon is creating classics from scratch with a twist. Enjoy all your favorites, including the best cheese grits in the South, a full bar, an in-house pastry chef, catering, online ordering for curbside or delivery, and a covered patio with live music on the weekends. We're open 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays and 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekends. South Hall Cafe, corner of Poplar and Mendenhall.
Golf enthusiast, looking for new golf greens? Got it. New and exciting Cypress View Golf and Recreation, just over the Mississippi River in Marion, Arkansas. Cypress View Golf and Recreation, absolutely gorgeous. Your first tee, you're looking at cypress trees a mile long in between a small lake. Give it your best shot. Feel like you're on vacation. Located just over the bridge at 303 Club Circle in Marion, Arkansas. It's the new semi-private pro golf club. Cypress View Golf and Recreation has a new golf pub with tons of new food items for breakfast and lunch. Choose from Philly cheesesteak sandwich, homemade fresh hand-patted burgers, and Nathan's hot dogs, flatbreads, quesadillas, summer salads, and more. Take advantage of Cypress View Golf and Recreation's new membership for unlimited golf. 7 days a week, only $199 plus tax. Call Pro Mark today at 870-739-6305 at Cypress View Golf and Recreation.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
What I'm saying is, this is the anthem. Throw all your hands up. Y'all got to feel me. Sing if you're with me, yeah.
Welcome into the Family Leisure Studios. A reminder, need to get to I-40 and Whitten Road for that pool. I don't want you to miss out again this summer. The pools, again, are going fast. They sold out last year. Same thing with spas in stock, ready now for delivery. And the 2021 patio furniture, well, they've got a full warehouse of that now, too. And with some select sets, and I always say, if you buy your outdoor patio furniture, yard furniture, you will use it. You will use your yard more. You will really appreciate it. And some of the new stuff up to 20% off on select sets. And you can swing at a spring with a brand new Play Gym professional installation, which I highly recommend, is available. Please get there while everything is still brand new and with good prices. Family Leisure, I-40 and Whitten Road, where family and fun do come together. All kinds of crazy stories that are going around, but we got to start with the NFL draft with our friend down in Tampa, and the Bucs seem to do pretty well. They were the ones that ended up with a quarterback with their second pick, and the quarterback who may be the greatest of all time, that would be Tom Brady, wasn't upset about getting Kyle Trask, unlike other quarterbacks who are pretty good that we know. Good afternoon, TJ. How are you?
I am fantastic. Always good to be with you guys. I'm all about crazy, so whatever craziness we have, and we got many avenues to travel as usual. And I will say to you,
we can do the crazy.
We love it, yes. Some people don't do crazy. We do crazy in my house, as you guys know. In fact, the twins will be here in about 10 minutes, and it will be crazy once again here after they're back from school this afternoon. So I have worked many different draft for Buccaneers radio, many different ways, as we described on the show last week, including when you have the first overall pick and describing it like Christmas morning, where you run down at 7 a.m., everybody opens the presents, has all the adrenaline rush, eats all the sugar in the breakfast, and you're done at like 8:15 or 8:30, and everybody's ready to collapse. So that's a first overall pick at the draft. Last Thursday night was definitely interesting after I talked to you guys.
Yeah, it was like
because
midnight,
we sat there for 5 hours, literally, until the 32nd pick came right around a little after 8 minutes after midnight Eastern time. So that was a long time and a lot of conjecture and a lot of watching. And as it turns out, the Buccaneers got a defensive end from the University of Washington who didn't even play a year ago, which we can talk a little more. So I can now officially say that I've worked all kinds, the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end, A to Z. I've worked the first pick, and I've worked the 32nd pick. And the 32nd pick, I have to say, is a little harder to talk for 5 hours
I bet.
about what they're going to do.
Did you really think it would be midnight before you'd make that pick?
We were.
You can move a lot faster.
Wagers. We were taking some wagers, but one of the interesting things is they make this about a 4 hour to 4 hour and 15-minute product for TV
show,
because there were still 10 picks left. Because again, if anybody was keeping track of it, we were, and we were looking at like 11:30 Eastern time, 10:30 Memphis time. Like there's 10 picks left or 9 picks left. Are we really going to be here till 12:30 a.m., 12:40 a.m.? But we were trying to peg the time. You know, the under/over was like 12:15, and I was taking the under. I was rooting for that. So the league moves quicker in the final hour there, that 11 p.m. to midnight window, because they realize people are fatigued. A lot of people have gone to bed. A lot of people have departed since their team picked. And so it was just interesting that, like, the last 8 picks only took half an hour, even though a lot of them were taking the full amount of time, because they were just hustling along the draft pick interviews. Some of those draft picks weren't there to interview that late in the draft. So they made it all work. We're glad, and it still is staggering. It's amazing that 30 million people combined watched the first night on ESPN, ABC, and the NFL Network. If you wonder why they've done it this way and moved it into prime time and separated it into one round on the first night and then two the next night and then the rest on Saturday, There is
That's
not
it.
anything on TV that gets a 30 million rating besides an NFL game right now, and this wasn't even a game. It's crazy.
No, this was the draft, not a fantasy draft, but the real draft. TJ, I don't think there's anything. Well, there got to be some things, but one thing that's greatly overdone out there in sport is whenever the veteran quarterback has the younger player drafted, and people want to naturally say, and I've heard Gator fans say this. I've heard SEC partisans say this. Oh, what a great spot for Trash to go to. Brady will be great at grooming him. Brady doesn't care what's about grooming Kyle Trask.
And that was a lot of the debate as soon as that pick was made on Friday night. How much is he going to help him? And I think for the most part, you're right for 2021, which will be his 22nd season for Tom Brady. I don't think that's going to be about mentoring Kyle Trask as much as it is saying to the rookie, hey, sit here and watch. And Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator, and
keep your mouth
the
shut.
Quarterback coach, watch and learn everything from meeting room to weight room to practice field, the attention to detail. So I don't know how much he will soften or mellow now that he won a Super Bowl in just 1 year in Tampa Bay, but this guy is driven beyond belief to go get one more. And that's not about whether Kyle Trask is going to be effective in 2022 or 2023 to him. So I agree with you on that point. But I will say this, because we kept saying it on the air. There was great speculation that they might do it at the end of the first round on Thursday night. And as it turns out, they did it at the end of the second round on Friday night. And so for Trask, that cost him in the neighborhood probably of about $10 million, something like that, right off the top, like $8-9 million at the minimum that it cost him. But still, what a situation to walk into, even if it did happen at the end of the second round. And there are a ton of Gator fans, as you know, not only throughout the state but in the Tampa Bay area. So they were roaring about this pick. And but again, it's an investment in 23-24. What does Kyle Trask look like? That's not a 2021 pick.
Well, I agree, and they got a guy. I mean, if that was the guy they identified that they wanted to get for grooming a quarterback, being sort of tutored by Tom Brady, then they made a beautiful decision because they got a good linebacker, defensive end, however you want to play him, in Joe Tryon, the kid from Washington. Mm-hmm. So that worked out, and they still got the guy that apparently they had identified, and they could get him 32 rounds later. So that works out perfectly. I do think that Tom Brady will be a little bit more generous with sharing his knowledge, because what else? He doesn't have to prove anything else. He doesn't need another Super Bowl. I know he wants one, but he's not going to be like Aaron Rodgers, or frankly, Brett Favre was in the same position. It's really funny.
Favre wouldn't even speak to Aaron Rodgers.
Right, and Brett Favre is now good buddies with Aaron Rodgers. He was on ESPN or some station today that ESPN picked up on, where he's saying, "Oh yeah, we're close now, and I think it's over for Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers." And you're right, he wouldn't have anything to do with them. There was no tutoring there. I think there will be tutoring here to a certain extent. My question for you is, Kyle Trask has to watch all that stuff that Tom Brady does, but does he have to have his diet?
I don't know. That's a good question. There's a lot of, I guess, validity in his training process, his off-season regimen, his diet, and those kind of things, and that has become a multi-million-dollar business. Another one for his advisors, he and his wife. They've got money coming every which direction out off the field in the NFL. But yeah, I mean that may be part of it too. And you're right that a lot of these guys they don't want to groom their replacement, especially a quarterback in the NFL. That's not surprising. So, but for Trask, again, not a mobile quarterback. He is not Justin Fields. He is not Trey Lance. Or even Trevor Lawrence, who's got wheels. But God love what's going to happen to Trevor Lawrence here. It's not unlike, you'll love this, speaking of Jameis Winston, the number one pick 6 years ago. When Jameis Winston came to the Buccaneers, he had lost one football game. One.
Right.
His high school senior year and all of his career at Florida State, he had only lost his final game to Oregon in the Rose Bowl, college football playoff semifinal. They had won the state title in Bessemer, Alabama, undefeated. They had won the previous year with Florida State undefeated and had won every game to that point. Jameis Winston shows up here and loses 10 times the first year and lost like 31 times his first 3 years in the NFL. Trevor Lawrence is going to lose more games because he was the same way, undefeated in high school. And at Clemson, what did they lose? Stats will know. Clemson lost, maybe 3 times? 4 times with him at the helm, because remember, they lost the Notre Dame game this past year to the Irish in the overtime when he didn't play. He maybe lost 4 games at Clemson, probably like 3.
I think it's 3. I think I remember that.
He's going to lose 3 games by October 15th.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With the Jaguars.
Oh,
get ready to get beaten up.
He could lose 3 games by September 30th. I mean, it could be right out of the gate.
So
TJ, I was when I was peeking in the draft. I promise you, I thought of you when every time, and he was ever present because they were wheeling and dealing, and the 49ers were out there as one of the big focuses of the draft with their pick and whom they ultimately selected. And they went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Jimmy G got hurt last year, but I'm getting to John Lynch. When he was with the Buccaneers, I know he was revered. I know he was beloved. Did you think, being around him then, that he would be this Bafo knockout success as front office guru?
I did not, and I knew him from the very beginning. It's interesting that he came as a rookie in 1993, John Lynch, from Stanford, had played for Bill Walsh, and actually wanted to be a baseball pitcher, a left-handed 95-mile-an-hour baseball pitcher, and Bill Walsh talked him into, I think you have a future in the NFL, and you need to have both tracks, have your baseball track and have your football track. But in getting to know him, I mean, what a super guy, first and foremost. Integrity beyond belief. Charity work off the field beyond belief. Even early in his career, when he wasn't known as an all-pro and the Bucs weren't very good, fantastic guy. So, no, I didn't see general manager in him, but as things went on, obviously he's a smart guy, and he started thinking about the rest of his life, and he was doing a great job on TV with Fox, but it got to the point where he missed the competitive part of this. He missed the fire, and I got to be around him again probably a decade ago, about 2010, 2012. He was doing the Buccaneer preseason games for a couple of years on TV while still doing stuff with Fox. And you could tell he kind of missed the winning and losing, et cetera, et cetera. And I can tell you from all the reporting and people we've talked to, and I have a couple of colleagues that actually work for the 49ers, unbelievably driven, here's that word again, into this. This is a 365-day-a-year thing for him, running that front office for the 49ers, their draft, their free agency, their salary cap. So it's amazing, the amount of time that he has poured into this. Let me give you a quick example that you didn't ask me about, speaking of great quarterbacks. Dan Marino realized this is really going to be work, like I was just describing, and he realized it about 2 or 3 days in, remember, took the job in the front office of the Dolphins and said, not for me. I just cannot be this. Not everybody can be this, where you're going to have to be a 52-week out of the year general manager or front office guy. So now he's an advisor to Stephen Ross, the owner, but not head first off the high dive, as I like to say, like John Lynch. And we'll see if the 49ers can roll around. I will say this, the owner loves Lynch. The results on the field will dictate whether Kyle Shanahan hangs around. If they're not much better, Lynch will be there long-term with what he's building. If Kyle Shanahan can't coach it, Kyle would be gone. I believe Lynch would still be there. We'll see.
We'll see. I like that combination so far. One last thing before we let you go. You were there to see Sam Burns win his first PGA Tour event. There had to be a lot of talk about this Super Tour, this Super Golf League. What's your take on all of that?
So the Valspar was here, the Valspar Championship, and the cliches were flying everywhere. Sam Burns painted a perfect picture, if you will, on Sunday, winning in the final round over Keegan Bradley. It looked like Keegan Bradley was going to make the run there, but faded badly. And so that's an interesting dynamic that course plays much harder in March than what it did but with the hot weather here in May, and it will now move back to a March event. They've already announced that with the Arnold Palmer, with with Bay Hill, and with Jack's PGA National, the Honda. In and around the Players' Championship, so that'll make a difference. But this whole Super League thing, whether it's the European soccer or now the golf, I mean, I realize they're independent contractors, but these guys make millions and millions away from the course already. And the prestige of the PGA and the European Tour and the championships, the major championships, should be a bigger deal. And Rory McIlroy basically said that in an interview yesterday, that it doesn't have to just be about the dollar and about the greed, because you can make tens of millions like he has, or Dustin Johnson has, or Tiger and Phil before that. And some of these other guys make millions of dollars currently, even without winning everything, because the endorsement money is unreal. So I'm not big on that super tour thing. Call me old-fashioned on that. Let's keep the tours intact and all the great events that we know. I mean, they've built the European Tour over the course of about 10 to 15 years, where you can make a huge living, and a lot of guys on the European Tour do, that don't come play in the United States. You are destroying that if you have this super tour. So that's their problem over in Europe. Let's see what happens.
I don't know what will happen. I hope that you're right. The majors will have a say in this. If they will not recognize the super tour, then I think they got a problem. But when a guy like Phil Mickelson can make $100 million in 1 year, whoa, that is something you got to pause and think about if you're a PGA Tour player, because $100 million is a lot of money in 1 year, that's for sure. TJ, as always, we truly appreciate it. I know you're going to do a bunch of stuff with the Alvarez fight this week.
Canelo Alvarez fighting Saturday, so I'm doing a bunch of boxing stuff. The Big Fight Weekend website, Big Fight Weekend podcast. This event will be at Jerry's World. Canelo's one of the top names in boxing. They will have over 65,000 there, guys, just real quick. We saw the Kentucky Derby had over 50,000 people last weekend. We've got Major League Baseball upping the attendance capacity. Indianapolis 500 is going to have over 100,000 fans. So this fight Saturday night, you guys will see something about it in Memphis or on the internet or wherever, is going to have over 65,000 fans. So we're going to be talking a lot of fights later this week, including the Canelo fight, along with all the other sports.
Thank
you guys be well. We'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. All that money going in your
TJ.
pocket. Now, that's good. I love it when that happens for you. All right. We got to take a break. I will let you know that this portion of our show is brought to you by Memphis Tourism and the Memphis Sports Council. The ballpark's open. I started thinking about the Hall of Fame. That's part of the Memphis Tourism. Kevin Kane, Malvin Gibson, J.J. Greer. Love it when the Liberty Bowl is having their kickoff. They're doing it in that new Renaissance Center. It's the first time I'm going to see it. I'm going to slip out a little bit early to go and see the crowning of the new president of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl for the year. But they're doing it in the new Renaissance Center. That is the convention center. And that's, again, Memphis Tourism. They are a big part of this station, and they help to bring you TJ Reeves. Remember, new events are coming all the time. They bring it here. They fill the hotels. They make sure restaurants do good business. They are all about Memphis, the Memphis Sports Council, and Memphis Tourism. Back in a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Safety toes, shoes, and great quality hiking boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
We welcome you back in as we cruise through hour number one on this gorgeous Wednesday afternoon. Couple little baseball things I got to get.
Day of the year. I told you that earlier today. I texted you that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. And
man, at 10 o'clock this morning.
Did it put pep in your step? I know you're doing your walking deal. I'm back to working out, by the way. Working out hard with Tommy Gerber.
Good for you. And it felt good to be out and just taking in the nice weather.
Yeah. No, it is.
Did you see that game today in Cincinnati? 0-0 through 9.
No.
Then we go to goofy time with how we do extra innings now. The Reds won it 1-0 over the Southsiders. And it's hard to go 9 innings 0-0 in that hitter-friendly ballpark.
It is. Did they bunt the guy over?
No, they did not. Had him on second and then hit to advance him to third. Didn't want to chance it, so then had first and third and had a line drive hit.
Well, I don't know. It does end it in 10, though. That you got to admit that. Two baseball things, real quick. You know how we I don't know if you've seen this video, Cubs Dodgers, but parents should teach their children the right thing. Correct?
I saw it with the little guy.
Yeah. So there's a home run hit to right field in the bleachers, and a guy, I think it's his little girl. And I'm going to say the little girl is like 4 years old. That was 3 or 4.
Rushed her down. Looked like he was going to throw her over the fence.
She gets the ball from the home run. He let her get it, which is cool. Then he picks her up, and you can hear him. I'm your daddy. I'm going to teach you the right thing. We
Runs
don't
her down
accept Dodger baseballs in this town, and he walks her to the wall. You're right. It looks like he's going to throw her, but he kind of leans her over to the wall, which is a little scary, and she drops the ball. And lesson well learned. You don't accept home run balls in Wrigley Field unless they come off the lumber from the mighty Chicago Cubs.
Dodgers are reeling.
Dodgers are reeling. I think they're 2 in their last 10, right? 2-8. I think that's
Since
right.
that big start. They had that big start, and I'm not going to subscribe to this, but if somehow through the 60-game mark, that's what we played last year, and this injury toll and things catch up, you're going to see stories written, well, if we'd have played a real season last year, these things could have happened, and who knows if the Dodgers would have been around at the end.
I suspect the Dodgers will be around at the end. This is a little lull. I think. Kershaw last.
So you just think operational pause right now
for
the Dodgers?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Could be, probably so. Everybody has that month.
Yeah, and that is the shortest appearance, even though it was 39 pitches. That was the shortest appearance for Clayton Kershaw in his career. Yesterday, first inning against the Cubs when they scored 4. I think in the end everything will be okay with the Dodgers. I really do.
What was your other baseball story?
The other baseball story is really weird. A lot of us delight in seeing Angel Hernandez blow calls. because he's a bit of an arrogant guy.
Because we pay to go see him. We pay to go see him on.
He thinks.
No, we do. That's why I go to games. Yeah. I don't go to see Ozzie Smith. Yeah. I don't go to see Mike Trout. I don't go to see Ryan Sandberg. I go to see Angel Hernandez ump.
Well, he blew it last night, but he actually has an excuse.
There's a headline we've never seen before.
Well, I actually had to check.
He's got impairment in his vision?
No. So there is a scoreboard in the outfield in Kansas City that is so bright it literally blinds you. And so the center fielder and the right fielder of who is it? I'm trying to remember who they're playing last night. I think
the Indians.
The Indians. So the Royals hit a ball into the gap in right center, and Ramirez, the center fielder, can't get the ball. He gets blinded by the scoreboard. Well, Angel Hernandez couldn't tell either. He thought it was caught, actually, by the right fielder. That's how bright the lights were. Who knew? And so they literally had to go to replay. He guessed wrong. He admitted he guessed wrong. He said, I was totally blinded. I had to ask my guy Andy Fletcher about that situation. He said, it's a bad situation in Kansas City. They're going to have to change that scoreboard probably. But, that was at least an example of getting it right with replay.
Boy, there's your headline. Right up there with Man Bites Dog. Umpire admits he's blind.
He did, and it was Angel Hernandez who never admitted he was wrong about anything. That was a pretty good story. This final portion, hour number 1, brought to you by Supercuts. Boy, I love good business stories, and this is a success story. How about 30 years ago? No stores. The Czech family comes. They open up one. Every other year, they've opened up one since. Now they've got 15. They make you look good. And they take their job seriously, the health and safety of their team, their community. All 15 stores have what they call the Safe Salon Commitment. It's all about sanitization of all the space in the salons and the spacing in those salons. And we're about ending a lot of that, but they're going to have the Safe Salon Commitment for a while longer if that puts you at ease. All you got to do is go to supercuts.com. You'll see what the Safe Salon Commitment's all about, and you'll find the store that is nearest to you. You want to look good? You want to look good for the weekend or even middle of the week? Maybe you got a middle of the week date. You want to look sharp. You got to go to Supercuts. Back hour number 2. It starts with golf picks. We'll also talk a little of this Super League with our good friend from Timber Trust, the owner, John Goen. Comes your way in just a minute.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together. So the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Has your child swallowed your medicine, your laundry detergent, your nail polish remover? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you inhaled paint thinner, glue, pesticides? Call the Poison Helpline. Have a question about a dose, a fume, something your kid just drank? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Oh, yeah, that Chicago intro always makes me feel good, but it just makes me think of how great the weather is. I'm sure John going at Timber Truss is just loving this weather. Perfect for golf, that is for sure. We're going to talk with him in just a minute. Grizzlies in Minnesota tonight in a game that has a feel like it has to go the Grizzlies' way. They are currently tied in the 8th position. Brett,
I bet that dad that taught the little girl to throw the ball over the fence, I bet he's got her listening to Chicago too. And one thing I always loved about Chicago, the band,
yes,
they kept it simple with naming the albums, didn't they?
Chicago 1, 2,
Chicago 1,
3,
2.
Yeah.
Well,
You know what they were originally called, don't you? They were not called Chicago.
I do not.
They were called CTA, which stood for Chicago Transit Authority, and the Chicago Transit Authority did not like them using their name. I don't think they realized how famous they were going to be, and so they forced them to just change their name to Chicago. And the rest, as they say. I must have seen that band.
That's right up there with
Go ahead.
I bet you have. That's right up there with Leonard Skinner. They got their name. They named them from their high school PE teacher that none of them liked. I think his name was Leonard Skinner.
Ha! I never knew that. I've seen Chicago probably, I'm not lying, at least 10, 12 times, and I would see, they still tour. There's a doctor in town that loves them, and he brings them in, and on occasion,
I love them.
He will invite me, and next time I'll beg him to invite me.
Now, does Peter Cetera travel with them? Is he considered part of them anymore?
No. He hasn't been with them for years. He got
acrimonious.
Too big for his britches.
It always is.
Oh, yeah. He got too big for his britches.
Yeah,
he did write a couple of those early singles. Then he had a pretty good career on his own, that is for sure. But
great.
He's not part of that group at all.
But usually, like the Eagles, they weren't going to get back to Hell Froze Over, and then they did the Hell Freezes Over tour because they realized how much money they could make. But so he never kissed and made up with them.
No.
Peter Cetera hadn't not even an appearance, nothing.
But you know what? Life is a long game. One last thing, and we got to get to John. But you mentioned the Reds and the White Sox today, and I was just reading this story. Tony La Russa did not know the rules of the extra innings. Now, he did know that you put a man on second base, but he made a double switch earlier in the game, and he had the pitcher in that position who'd only been a base runner one time in his entire career, and they put him at second base. Well, he did not realize –
Twitter's crushing him.
He did not realize that you could use with a pitcher, you can use the guy before him in the lineup in the on deck circle.
It was a senior moment for him.
Yeah, he could have gone with Jose Abreu.
He's getting crushed.
Yeah, he'll get over it. They're 3 games over 500. They were tied for first going into this thing. He's got them in the right direction. This will be a blip, but
if you teed off right now, could you finish 18 by sunset? I think you could at Timber Trust.
With this kind of weather. If you did it right now and you were using that bicycle thing he's got, John Goen, I know you can do it.
You could do it.
Come on.
You could definitely do it. No problem.
How long on that bike? How much does that speed up around?
We've got foursomes that can play in 2.5 hours.
Really?
With nobody in front of them.
Wow.
That's the way you should play.
Yeah, I could play twice a day if we did that. Holy cow.
Yeah, but you're back, Dave. Dave, you're back.
I'm still
Remember,
young.
you just had a birthday, Dave.
I'm still young, I promise. John Goen, let's start with what's going on in this tour. I read the story today where Phil Mickelson could literally make $100 million in 1 year on this new tour. That's what they said, because the Saudi money is just obscene. What do you think will happen with this Super Tour?
I don't know. I mean, I saw some of the stuff today, and I think Rory's response and everybody's response is pretty legitimate. I mean, we've gone down these paths before. We've talked about this.
Greg Norman wanted to take us down at once.
Greg Norman wanted to take us down. There was I remember. When Fred Couples and those guys from 45 to whatever, but trying to get to the Champions Tour, wanted to have a tour in between the two tours because, because of age, they had dropped off a little bit, so they wanted to kind of have their own thing there as well. And in today's day and age, I just don't see how you run into enough dollars to be able to do something like that. I mean, let's face it, it is the PGA Tour. It's not the NFL. It's not college football. It's not Major League Baseball. I understand what they're ultimately wanting to accomplish here, and kind of pull all these players in. But I find it very, very challenging to find corporations or whatever that are going to have the funding to be able to jump into something like this, and really get their money's worth out.
I'm not sure they care about the money. This is ridiculous Saudi Arabia money that is being bandied about. That's why it's so crazy. To me, though, and the best answer came from Rory McIlroy, and it's sort of something that I addressed yesterday, which is the main weapon that the tour has. And they could say, okay, you can go for that big money. Phil Mickelson, go ahead. We don't blame you. But anybody who goes and plays on that other tour, they're no longer eligible to play in the PGA. They're not eligible to play if the USGA agrees to it, and they were hinting at that today. You're not going to play in the U.S. Open. The RNA has not commented on this, nor has Augusta, but I would imagine Augusta would keep the PGA Tour as their friend and their brother, their business partner. So you would just say, go, and you're not going to play in the majors. So your golf legacy becomes stymied.
Well, I did see. I think you're correct with regard to the RNA. I did see something where the European Tour came out and kind of arm in arm with the PGA Tour, basically saying that, look, you can do this, but between the PGA Tour and all the other governing bodies, we've tried to create a world tour, and clearly I think that they have all kind of done that and done it to the point where you can kind of hop back and forth a little bit and have the opportunity to kind of play in the events you want to play in. So, again, we've definitely kind of seen this. The money is going to be enough there to where, does it really make that big of a difference if you do kind of burn your card for some of these guys? But I think it's going to be probably similar to anything else. I think it's going to be something that's talked about, and then ultimately, I just struggle seeing it come to fruition because because of these tours that are joining alliances. You're going to be out there playing, but to not be able to play in majors. I mean, regardless of what we've talked about, these guys still, at the end of the day, want to be able to win major championships. They want to win at Augusta National. They want to be able to win a PGA or a U.S. Open or an Open Championship. And to not have the ability to be able to do that because you ultimately are money seeking, I don't see many of these guys, wanting to kind of get too deeply involved in something like that.
John, this week at Quail Hollow, legendary course, players rave reviews, one of the great golf states in the country in North Carolina, in the city of Charlotte. Then next week to the Byron Nelson, then the PGA. I know why we probably wouldn't do it too often is because you already have your regular tour stop, so let other people enjoy the fun. But what course that's a regular tour hosting spot do you think could be? I know it's done at Pebble and it's done at times through at Torrey Pines. But which one that they haven't done it before? Would you like to see maybe a regular tour stop someday host a PGA championship?
Oh, that's a good question. Because clearly you've kind of seen a little bit. I mean, regular tour stops are always a little bit more challenging. Just from the standpoint of week in, week out, you're gonna face different challenges on different golf courses. I mean, you've got the scenic parts of what you've mentioned with Pebble and of course Torrey Pines this year for a U.S. Open and
what about Ponte Vedra at Sawgrass, the mothership? I know it'd be tight March to May, but if you kept the crew going, and I've even thought about this one, why not one time celebrate our 50th state and take it to Kapalua? Take the PGA Championship to Kapalua or to that course where the Sonys played. Oh, would they?
Oh, I think they would. Yeah.
There's definitely challenges, I think you face there. I think you definitely, as if we're beating up Byron Nelson enough, over the span of the last few weeks with regard to, where they're sandwiched in and what's happened to that event and everything else. I think,
knock everybody out.
The biggest challenge you run into, though, too, is, that the week before events, we ran into it obviously here for years at the FedEx St. Jude Classic. When it was an East Coast U.S. Open, the field was a little bit better. When you were a West Coast U.S. Open, there was historically a bit of a dip in strength in field because although, we're as close to the center of the country as you could, potentially be from, just a travel standpoint and, being a former hub and everything else, that you've got ways to get, to the West Coast rather easily, especially, once you start chartering planes and stuff like that. But, if it goes that far west, another 5-6 hours of a time zone change, even from something in the middle of the country, I think, you definitely face some challenges there.
And you'd knock out a lot of media that just couldn't afford to go to. I don't know about Hawaii as much as I thought I did.
Yeah, now that you mentioned it, PGA National would be a heck of a golf course for a major.
Well,
they host the Honda, and that stretch of finishing holes and the Bear Trap and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly they could toughen that golf course up enough to. Not that it'd be perfect for a PGA because we know the PGA of America doesn't like to take the USGA stance with regards to trying to protect par, but PGA National would be I think a pretty good golf course, and I think you could potentially even do something at Bay Hill and kind of get away with something like that. And I think Bay Hill would probably be fairly well received, especially with that last little stretch of holes, there. I don't know whether they could gain any more length off of 18 to be able to, make that hole a little bit more challenging. But you've got a pretty decent stretch, there, but I think PGA National would be, as you were kind of going down that path, it is one that kind of popped into my head, that I think could definitely host a major.
John, what is your favorite golf course? And don't say Timber Trust. Of those
No.
on the circuit, what is your favorite golf course to play? If you only had 2 or 3 courses you could play, what would they be?
Of what's on tour, to be honest, I've never had an opportunity to play Pebble. You see it and everything else. I mean, I've had clearly opportunities to be able to play, the TPC courses. I've played San Antonio, played Sawgrass, played at Sugarloaf, when they used to host the old Bell South Classic. That was a tough one, to be honest. I don't know whether I've truly have. I mean, clearly the one that I would ultimately want to play would be Pebble, but that's kind of the layup choice, from that standpoint. But I some of the and I know we were talking tour stops, so it's these obviously always kind of rotate around. But the major courses were always fun, or would be fun to be able to play. I mean, I've had an opportunity to play at Baltusrol. I've had an opportunity to play at Marion before they hosted the U.S. Open, and just I've had an opportunity to play at Congressional, and to step foot on those properties and just kind of see the history and the stories and stuff like that is something pretty unique and pretty special. But as I will say too, though, as I've gravitated much more into the public side of golf, as great as all those places are, it takes away from the majority of golfers, because they are so exclusive, because they're so expensive or they're private or whatever. I mean, it takes away the opportunity for, the common golfer to be able to have an opportunity. So, to be able to go play at Torrey Pines, to be able to go play, the Black course, the Bethpage Black, to be able to go to play at Whistling Straits, even though Whistling Straits is expensive.
Whistling Straits, by the way, I've played Pebble Beach. I've not played Torrey Pines. I would have to say Whistling Straits is my favorite golf course that I ever played. The one that is on the it's called Whistling Straits. It's in Kohler. There's Black Wolf Run or whatever. There's the Irishman
Club
at the American Club. You stay at the American Club. They have a package which, it's a little expensive, but it's not as bad as you think if you go through the package in the American Club. But Whistling Straits, to me, is the most dramatic, majestic golf course I've ever played. There's more lake views than ocean views that you get at Pebble Beach. So that is something for people to consider. All right, tell me a little bit about what you love about Quail Hollow, because the players rave about this golf course too.
Quail Hollow was the one golf course I think that really kind of started a lot of the how sponsors have had to really kind of change how they host players. I mean, when this was the Wachovia for years and everything else. I mean, they really upped the game there from a player, experience perspective and everything else. I mean, obviously it's hard to believe that at one point in time this was a bent grass, golf course and of course made the change to Bermuda grass on the greens to be able to host the PGA Championship. But, I think that Quail has a good stretch of holes on the backside in particular that always make it a bit more entertaining and interesting for guys to be able to win a golf tournament. The 18th hole there is always so challenging with that creek that runs down the left-hand side and really kind of forces the players to have to hit 2 good shots in order to be able to win, what is truly kind of, I think, become a pretty good coveted event on the tour for these guys. So, always nice to kind of see. I'm happy to see that they're back with a decent strength of field and that some of these players that have had some success there are going back to play and so I look forward to a good week.
Yeah, Is it time for Dustin Johnson to contend?
Boy, I tell you what. I mean, you hate from what I have seen out of DJ. I mean, he doesn't seem, that he's got his, I guess, mental game at this point. So, I mean, we all know how, if Dustin Johnson has all the confidence going in the world that he obviously is the best player in the world, but he gets into these kind of valleys and definitely kind of struggles, and it takes something special to get him out of it. I don't know whether this week is it. I wouldn't be surprised potentially of a PGA as it returns to his home state, and an opportunity to kind of return to form there, because there's clearly not going to be too many guys playing next week as they get ready for the PGA at Kiawah Island.
Absolutely. All right. Well, DJ will be there for you, Drew. You had a rough week last week. You are in last place. Therefore, you get to go
Drew said
first.
2 bagels out of 4 weeks of picking.
That's hard
That's
to do.
quite talented.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Austin Cook. He's in this tournament, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know.
I will not be taking Austin Cook, especially with my first pick. No, first pick, hard to pass up on odds on favorite John Rahm, but I'm going to go with Victor Hovland.
Wow. Going all the way down to Victor Hovland.
What?
Yep.
Very interesting pick.
This is our
here comes
the
start
guy.
of the next double bagel.
I know. Victor.
It sure
Sorry,
could
Drew.
be.
Sorry.
Thank you very much, Drew. I'll take Mr. North Carolina Golf himself, Webster Simpson.
Wow. You guys are leaving me John Rahm, Justin Thomas, Bryson DeChambeau.
You only get one of them.
I know. I'm going to go with John Rahm. He's due.
John Rahm for Dave. John Goen takes.
I mean, I mean, you got to take a guy who won his PGA there, right? I'll take Justin Thomas. He's kind of sitting there.
You know what? JT absolutely played like a dog for me last week. That's why I just could not possibly take him. By the
Especially
way,
on Sunday.
John Goen, who told you had your shot? Who told you Keegan Bradley, second place?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, you
last
had an
week.
opportunity too and didn't take him. So I mean, I don't feel too bad. I tell you, I will admit though, Dave. I will fully admit when Stats sent the results out from last week. When I looked on Thursday, both guys I picked were 2 over par and T110. I swear I didn't look at another result the entire weekend.
I believe you.
I have no. I'm like, how did I get that much money? Like who even came close? I was figuring I was Drew. I threw the bagel up. I kind of move on, after the win from the week
Thanks,
before.
Josh.
Away
Appreciate
I
it.
go.
Man, that was a shot. That was a good shot, too, Drew.
Well,
All right, Drew, shock us.
I've got one for you coming up in a minute, but I'll be picking before you. Go ahead.
Yep, I hear you.
All right.
Well, just because of that, I'm going to come back and win this whole darn thing. Y'all know that, right?
Oh, yeah, we sure
There's no-
know that.
There's no
I don't feel
there's
it.
no
No.
quadruple money for your second.
You
pick.
know, I have come to believe that you are much like your baseball team when it comes to picking. You are the Baltimore Orioles of this picking contest.
Oh,
Why are we
Drew.
piling it up on me?
2 out of 4 weeks bagels, Drew. I can't
what-
I can't run interference for it.
What can we do? I mean, you're just looking at the
Now,
facts.
I usually rush to your
You're
support,
throwing-
but I can't.
Yeah, you're throwing softballs up
And you
when you throw
and you
2 bagels up
and,
in
and
4
you
weeks.
hung that banner last year when you
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
win anything.
Yeah, that was really good.
It's still there.
Still there. It's still, believe me. I
It can
look
stay
at it
there.
every
You
day.
still didn't win.
Yeah. All right.
Well, this guy is going to win. I'm going to win double money. 81st in the world to give me Harold Varner
Wow.
III.
I can't believe you took him.
HV3.
I thought
like it.
for
I'm
sure
gonna-
I would get him.
I'm going to do the real. It's like the person on The Price is Right that bids $1, or no, bids $1 more than the person, and they're the last picker, and it totally blocks out that person. I'm going to win this week with John's shot from last week, Taylor Gooch.
Wow. I could take. Could he do it 2 weeks ago, Keegan Bradley? I think I'm going to take Tringale. That's who I'm going to go with.
That's not a bad one.
He's number 65 in the world. And John, I'm going to give this one to you. This is
okay.
It's a gift.
Here's my layup for the week, boys.
Dave, you're aware John's in first, aren't you?
I'm very well aware of it.
Okay.
This guy is a great story. He came to public knowledge at Pebble Beach, the aforementioned course you have not played. His name is Akshay Bhatia. He gave up college golf to try to be on the tour. He's currently ranked 821. I saw him on that CBS, that Charlie Reimer show.
That should win like 10 times.
I'm telling you, Bhatia is going to win. He's got a chance to do something. God, there's Ricky Fowler in there, too. I'm just giving you these things.
I feel like it's Christmas.
I know.
Dave just keeps giving me gifts.
I think John's done fine without Dave helping him, Drew.
I would say so.
Oh, he has. Just trying to help the man.
Well, I kind of threw this name out a couple of weeks ago, I think, in the team event. Fortunately, I went away from it, but I like this guy's name. He's got some connections to my hometown of Blacksburg, Virginia. Went to Virginia Commonwealth, I believe, and played golf there. I will take number 60 in the world, and that is Lanto Griffin.
Lanto Griffin. Okay. When Bhatia finishes in the top 10 in this event, you will sing my praises, John Gullen.
The thing about the whole deal, though, is, Dave, is that you're throwing these things out, but you're not picking them. Which, if you're so sold on this, then
we'll change it now. We can scratch through Cameron Tringali and give you Bhatia.
Well, I'll tell you
I'll
what.
do that. Y'all good fight?
I'm good for it.
I think what you should do is you can give me the combination of them. I mean,
why do you get two players?
This isn't the discount bar.
Oh, I see.
I mean,
okay. I can try. All right, so here's what we got. Drew's got Victor Hovland, and he's got Harold Varner III. Brett's got Webb Simpson and Taylor Gooch. I've got John Rahm and Cameron Tringale. And John's got Justin Thomas and Lanto Griffin. And I know people are going to go crazy to play your golf course this weekend. Is the grass coming in now?
Golf course is definitely coming along. It'd be great if we could get a bit of a dry stretch of weather. I mean, I know we got about an inch and a half basically in about the last 36 hours, which is a bit unfortunate. But, Jacob and everybody are doing a great job. Golf course has really kind of come along. We had a great time last Friday with the Highland 100 group, and then kind of turned right back around Monday and had the Air National Guard folks out for a softball fundraiser for them. And that was just a couple of just really, really fun days and great times. Obviously, this weekend is Mother's Day, so I'm sure everybody's going to get it in on Saturday, and then Sunday's going to be a coin toss or a late afternoon tee time, I'm sure, for most. So still some times available for the weekend. I know the weather's probably looking a little dicey from what I've kind of seen. There's some chances of rain, but hopefully we can finally dodge a little bit of something and get some good golf in. But getting ready for airification on Monday, get the golf course, breathing a little. And as we kind of get going into the season, we got our 2-man scramble, obviously coming up tomorrow night. That's always a fun one heading into the weekend. So everybody kind of kicks off the weekend maybe a little bit early. And then we are, of course, starting to try to get a ladies 9-hole event in that'll start next Tuesday at 5:30 as well. So lots of activities going on. Of course, as we've always touched on, we got the fin cycles. We've got, the TrackMan simulator. If you're looking for that next set of golf clubs or for a lesson or just if you do want to come down and play Pebble Beach, if it happens to be raining, we've got the opportunity for Pebble Beach and Spanish Bay and Spyglass and the old course at St. Andrews and about 90 other different types of golf courses on those days where you're chomping at the bit to be able to get out, but you just can't. So you can come down and rent time in the simulator and bring some friends down and maybe enjoy some food and a few adult beverages, and away we go. So for tee times, of course, you can always visit us at timbertrustgolf.com, or you can call us at 662-895-5600. 3530. But look forward to seeing folks down for the weekend, and happy Mother's Day to everybody.
Thank you, John. We appreciate it. Happy
Thank you,
Cinco
John.
de Mayo
Great job.
Day to you. This portion of the show, in fact, this hour of the show is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. That's also home of Genesis of Olive Branch. They have a lot in common. Same crew. All 13 years these people have been together. Chris True's their leader now. The man over the Genesis cars, that's a wonderful gentleman from Montreal originally, Vinny Girard. He loves hockey and he loves luxury cars. He loves Genesis cars. He's got G70s, he's got G80s, he's got G90s, he's got that GV80, he's got a demo of it. And you can order that car and it will eventually come. But as soon as that SUV gets on the lot, it gets sold. Every one of these new Hyundais and Genesis cars get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, but they also will give you, this is part of their service, this is part of their philosophy, a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on every new car, every new Hyundai, every new Genesis. They will rotate your tires, change your oil, just absolutely take care of you. That's the philosophy at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We talk the business of golf in just a minute, and that is with our professor from Harvard. Rick Horrow comes your way in just a minute.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Are you considering replacing your heating and air conditioning system this spring? Conway Services and Carrier have teamed up to make now the perfect time with Visa gift cards back from Carrier for up to $1,500 on select Carrier Infinity systems. If you happen to need 2 new systems, that'd be up to $3,000 in Visa cards. Now that'd come in handy. If that's not enough, we'll include an April air cleaner to help remove dust from your home, a 10-year parts warranty, and a free Nest thermostat. Plus, with Conway Services, we have easy payment plans with systems as low as $139 per month. Now you could do that. And with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system, we'll come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Looking for some action? Sports gambling is legal in Tennessee. Action247.com. Local, legal. A sportsbook by Tennesseans, for Tennesseans. Go to Action247.com. Register and place your bets. Are you a sharp or a first-time bettor? Action 24/7 has you covered. Visit us online at Action247.com. Local, legal. Action 24/7. You got action.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-889-9789. Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Oh, what a gorgeous day it is. Always fun, too, when we get the chance to speak with our Harvard professor. Rick Horrow joins us now from who knows where he could be. He could be at the previously talked about Pebble Beach. He could be.
He'll be at the PGA in 2
Miami.
weeks.
I know he will. He could be at Quail Hollow for all I know in North Carolina with that coming up. Here's where I want to start with you today, Professor. I want to start with somebody tweeted out over the last 2 years since the pandemic began, they had the top 10 television ratings for non-NFL or college football games on all the networks. And the NCAA was 1 and 2. There was the Masters, I think 2 Masters. There was a Kentucky Derby, this year's Kentucky Derby in the top 10.
A lot of baseball.
And there were 4 World Series and 1 LCS that were in the top 10. Those were the top 10. There was not an NBA game in the mix. Should the NBA be worried? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Do you want to know where I am? You were
Yes.
like it was rhetorical.
Yeah,
Who
it's
cares?
like
Of course we do.
It's like the Matt Lauer thing. Where
We
is Matt Lauer?
live vicariously through you.
Yes.
Yeah, well, of course. But now, this is, look, at the back end of a 2-week trip. I started a couple weeks ago, and we went up to Ponte Vedra to play, and Myrtle Beach to play,
Oh,
and
my
Pinehurst
Oh, my
to
gosh.
play, and Brookline to play, and came back through Potomac, Burning Tree to play.
Oh, gosh.
Went to Quail Hollow on Thursday, Monday, just to kind of say hi to people, and had dinner in Atlanta, and now I'm about 2 hours away from home after 22 days.
I want to be you.
That's
one day.
rough.
Did you ever,
Rick,
play?
that's rough.
My favorite of I've played a couple of the courses that you mentioned, but have you played Whistling Straight?
Oh, my God, yes. The best part about Whistling Straits is those sheeps have targets on their behind, and they're in the first fairway. And if you don't lift the drive the sufficient amount, you can risk hitting a sheep in the wrong place, and I think they get upset and start running after you.
Rick, you have a daughter in the D.C. area. Did you get to see her playing Burning Tree?
Oh, no, I wasn't able to do it because of the vaccine, and she hadn't been very, very well asked. She hasn't been vaccinated enough yet. The family hasn't, so next time I'm going up. And then I'm going to do – my other daughter is in Minnesota studying for the bar with her fiance, and I'm going to wrap that into a College World Series trip and maybe figure out how to drive some of it and maybe go to Chicago and stop by Memphis on the way to Minneapolis. Yeah, I know it's the wrong way, okay? But, on the map, it's like a quarter of an inch. So,
Hey,
we're all
Rick, and Dave, the great Burning Tree Golf Club story, I don't know if it still is or not, but for a long time, it was male only. And Senator John Warner from Virginia, former Secretary of the Navy, and he was famously married to Elizabeth Taylor, as many people were married to Elizabeth Taylor.
Yes.
And she showed up one day and said, "What kind of stodgy place is this? I can go in anywhere I want." And he literally picked her up and carried her back to her car and told her to leave the premises.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about Adios, which is an all-male club down near me, and there are a few others. And, it's hard to get away with it these days. Yeah. There used to be this whole idea of, we stand up for the private nature of the club. Now people just kind of look the other way and hope you don't notice. I think that's the big deal about that. And so
it's goofy. You should have come one, come all.
I've heard about Adios too. I think Mike Ditka's a member of Adios.
Well, there are a few former Miami Dolphins, including one former Miami Dolphins big-time quarterback that I know very well, and he's had to kind of sneak around the back so people didn't make a big issue out of it. And I guess now I'm making.
All right, what about the NBA? Is it a harbinger of things?
Thank you. I don't know if it's the Black Lives Matter thing. I think it was the bubble. The NBA's got to get back to people watching. It also had to do with, I think, last year that people don't like changes in their routine. So, watching an NBA Finals in the fall doesn't work. People aren't excited about it. That could be one reason. And the other obvious reason is that, the bubble had strange bedfellows. Let's see what happens with this year's playoffs. LeBron doesn't like the play-in part of the tournament. Well, I don't care. Nor does anybody else, whether LeBron James likes it or not. They may have to play into it. So a lot of strange bedfellows, and you may have some very interesting storylines this year. And let's see if the NBA returns to glory. The jury's still out on the ratings as far as the NBA is concerned.
Is the play-in stuff going to go away? I mean, you got one of the owners, Mark Cuban, who was for it to begin with, he's saying it was a big mistake because his team, well, they're starting to play above it. But no one wants to take a chance on being ousted in one game instead of one series. And so I wonder about its future. I think it's good for the league because it makes teams that would not have any interesting games at the end of the year become interesting, and it makes the league play their players when they would be resting them.
Very well put on both counts. And the other piece of this, just like baseball's one-game wild card, where people don't like it because they had a better record, they were ousted in the one game. Well, suck it up and win. You know, if you win early on in the season, you don't have to even worry about it. So I think the idea of bringing other people and other teams into this playoff net generates a lot of excitement at the end of the year where it otherwise wouldn't. And I can assure you, based on knowing, although not having conversations about this with them, but based on knowing a lot of NBA owners, it's not going to go away because LeBron James wants it to go away.
I know you.
Has Roger Goodell done? We've talked about it a little bit. Has Roger Goodell completely changed his rating, his likability, because he did it again with the draft? I don't think the boos were as lusty or as continuous in a lot of drafts in the past. Certainly nothing like when he was in Philadelphia. But Roger Goodell, he's about to be one of the big survivors of the pandemic, and he on and off the field, bottom line and product.
Yeah, well, and the other thing about it too is that when you think about it, you know, booing somebody is not, especially in that role, is not a sign that people don't like him. You know, Gary Bettman almost revels in it, and he can't take it seriously. So, you know, especially when the Stanley Cup is awarded at a visitor's rink, man, he's ready for it. I've been around him in period 3 when he knows he's got to go down there, and he's all excited about it. So, and I think Roger ought to feel the same way, even if he doesn't. And you know, his likability. There haven't been a lot of these controversies where he's in a no-win situation recently and suspending players and not suspending players, and you know, Deflategate made him a villain in New England. And I think also, you know, they handled the comeback well last year. He's made a announcement about how important it is to be able to come back with full attendance. Whether it happens or not, it's a good aspiration in May before the season starts. And I know Roger well, and he's very funny, and it's dry, and he's not, doesn't want to appear to be, you know, that kind of commissioner. But I think more people are liking him. You know, not that he cares what I care, but what I say, but I do think he's becoming more likable.
I think the owners have to love him. I mean, he's ushered in, and I'm a little surprised because there was a couple of years ago, I think, a moment where everybody was taking pause and wondering if Roger Goodell was going to make it. But this new television contract that he's ushered in, the money that this league and these owners are now making, he's been a part of that growth. And so I don't think you can say he is anything but successful.
He's handled the NFL to the digital age, playing Amazon against some of the other newfangled media companies, generating much more money than anybody thought was possible. And now he's got to get the kind of stadium deals done. He got to figure out Jacksonville a little bit. Stadium deals have all been done. Vegas is great. SoFi is great for 2 teams. The problems business-wise are a lot less today than I think they've ever been in the NFL.
After Jacksonville, who's next up on needing a new NFL stadium?
Well, Jacksonville doesn't need a stadium as much as it needs more population. And, you know, the next thing you do when you go east, you go to the Atlantic Ocean. You go west, there's nothing there toward Tallahassee. Farther go north it's Falcons territory, you know, and south is Dolphins and Buccaneers territory. So I think Shad Khan, the owner, as an international businessman, has had his sights set on London, and I think a lot of people in Jacksonville are terrified because, you know, you can do a great deal on the stadium, but there's only so much you can do if it's a small market. So that piece becomes very important.
Maybe they can do what Manchester United did to try to get rid of the Glazers. They could go stampede and try to stop a game and say we want them to sell the club. Because they do have that ocean, but that ocean keeps going to London, and that seems to be where he wants to take them. Let me ask you this before we run out of time. We've talked about it a couple of times already on the show today, but it's so interesting, this new Super Golf League. We saw what happened, I just mentioned, with the Super League they were going to put in competition with the European League in soccer over that ocean. Does this thing have any chance where a guy like, from what I read today, Phil Mickelson could make $100 million in 1 year from this crazy Saudi money? Will we ever see this Super Tour?
Well, let's remember that we asked the same kind of question when Greg Norman got together with Fox and tried to put that all together years ago.
Right.
And long story short, it became the WGC, and the PGA Tour found a way to co-opt it. The whole FIFA leverage is all about co-opting and understanding they have suspension power, and they have the World Cup suspension power, and that is not going away, but it's not going to come back quickly. And I think, Jay Monahan took it seriously enough to step up and make a very interesting statement about, anybody that's supporting this, I'm willing to use my suspension power, which is something that nobody's ever thought about before. So, people are now in this early stage of talking about whether they like it or not. And my prediction is it's not going to generate enough consensus to be real. But, it sometimes you start a process, ends up something entirely different, just like the Norman deal did with WGC. So maybe look for some reforms, but not overnight.
All right, my friend, thank you much. We appreciate it. Drive safely. I wish I could be you. 22 days on all those golf courses. Woo!
Yeah,
what
well,
a life.
Look, I'm tired. We're going to start again. We're going to Boston next week for the opening of that new stadium in Worcester, and we're going to play a few courses up there, too. So you'll be calling me. I'll be on the road next week when I talk to you that Wednesday.
All right, we will live vicariously
Thank
through
you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Be safe.
Awesome, man. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
That is
Thank
Rick
you.
Horto. He's brought to you in part by, since he loves golf so much, he will love this golf course. When he comes, we will play it. We're talking Miramichi, 330 acres, 7,400 yards of championship golf, but there's 4 or 5 different tee boxes. You get to choose, and every round of golf comes with a golf cart and complimentary range balls, and if you'd like, 2 or 3 different practice areas where you can work on your game. If you've got a 11 o'clock tee time, you want to start at 9 o'clock working out, trying to fine-tune your game, you can do that. And then after the event, you go to the terrace. That is the redone patio that is above 9 and 18, and I think it has got the best view in all of Shelby County. There's a full-service bar up there now with a whole new cooktop, and they'll cook you stuff up. They've got televisions to watch golf or football when it happens, or baseball right now. And they've just started this past weekend with bands over the weekend. You don't even have to be playing golf. If you just want to go hang out, get a couple of cold ones, some music with that crazy great view, you'll love Miramichi. So many reasons why. They're always improving. It is spectacular. Please don't take my word for it. Go see them. North Memphis, Miramichi. We take a quick time out. When we come back, we put a wrap on this second hour on this Wednesday of Sports Time.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight. exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together. So the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Brett, I don't know your total summer schedule yet, but I got a feeling you'll be making a trip to St. Louis to see Keith Hernandez, who's been elected into the St. Louis Cardinal Hall of Fame. It'll happen at some point later in the summer. I'm not sure what that date is yet, but he should be getting into the Cardinal Hall. He was really great for them.
He was a great player and key to the 82. Key part of the 82 champion. Then in one of the most controversial Cardinal trades ever, traded to New York for Neil Allen, and that didn't work out very well, did it? But Keith Hernandez, he was my favorite Cardinal.
Really,
of my life, not by lore, not I was 1 year old when Stan Musial played his last year, but by actually seeing him, Keith Hernandez was my favorite Cardinal player until Albert Pujols, and he was instrumental that trade. They already had Mookie Wilson, they signed Gary Carter, and then their young guys came of age, the pitching, Gooden and Strawberry, Wally Backman, and people like that, Wally Backman infielder. But Keith Hernandez, that was key to building the big bad Mets, and he was received horribly in St. Louis after he became a Met.
He was. It was not like the way they've treated Albert, but Albert hasn't come back all the time either. Being in the other league. Well, he's not even probably the Cardinals' favorite first baseman of all time anyway.
No, it's Pujols.
That's right. It is Albert. I think of Albert so much as a third baseman, though. The other guy at first base was pretty good, too. Boy, the Cardinals have a good first baseman. Mm.
Yeah, they have. And today on
who
Cinco
I'm
de
talking
Mayo.
about, don't you? The other first baseman we haven't mentioned yet? Mark McGwire.
Yeah.
He's got to be in the conversation, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just wasn't one of my favorite people, though. I'm sorry.
Okay, but
on Cinco de Mayo Day on on 5 day, Albert Pujols, my favorite number 5 in baseball, and I think Paul Horney, my favorite number 5 in football. I was trying to think of basketball guys today. Was one of the Van Arsdales number 5?
No, but a famous Bulls was a guy named Guy Rogers, who you never even heard of.
No,
he was the
got
first.
nothing on Guy
He was
Rogers.
the first Chicago Bulls star.
We do have a perfect game going by the Orioles, by Drew's Orioles.
Whoa.
We're 3 away from a perfecto.
Wow.
Well, it doesn't matter if we talk about it, Drew. It doesn't matter.
It could jinx it. Let's not take a chance.
The game is being played in Seattle.
Yes.
They have no idea in Memphis, Tennessee, we're talking about it. None.
That's in the ninth.
Never been a perfect game in Orioles history. They hadn't had a no-hitter since 91.
And there's one out now. Oh, that's in the top of the ninth. The Orioles are
Yeah,
up.
we got to get to the bottom.
Yeah.
That last 3, 25, 26, and 27.
We will be keeping our eye on
We ought to have
all of
Drew
that.
call it off the TV and don't cuss on there when it's broken up, Drew.
I won't.
Can you see the TV?
I've got it pulled up streaming right now.
Do you really?
Yep.
Wow. Well, okay, we will.
And if you see me on the Zoom and you think it's a goofy picture, it is because I'm standing because I have bursitis in my left knee and it hurts so bad to sit down. I have to stand up.
Man, you are getting old. That's all I can
I
say.
know I am, Dave.
For a young man, you're
I know.
old. That's all I can tell you.
That's very kind of a yogiism there.
Yeah.
But oh
boy!
But to bend it, I have to stay up straight. So you see the goofy view I have right now, don't you? On the Zoom.
I will look here real quick. I've been on the more traditional of the things. Oh yeah, you are. You're at a weird angle.
Yeah. I had to stand up.
Well, that's a good thing you have those headsets. That's all I can say.
Exactly.
Boy, I've been looking at the Twitter. Whew, my goodness. They are killing Tony La Russa.
Oh, I told you. It was brutal, and it was brutal quickly.
Even our friend
and you remember
George
Teal?
Offman.
Yeah. Our buddy Isaac Simpson was on it quick this afternoon, and he wasn't a big fan of the hire. And remember, TLR had that senior moment in the World Series on changing pitchers in 2011, and they said that moved him to retirement as much as anything. That he thought, when that happens, I need to go. Well, that was 10 years ago.
I'm not there, so I don't see it, but I have heard from a couple of Chicago reporters that wonder just how quick he still is, and to not know these rules.
I have too.
That's really a shame. I could see how that could happen. He hadn't been in the game since that new rule's been in, and this is sort of a different kind of twist on it. It's not like you didn't know the guy was going to start at second base, but some of the nuances behind that I get. This portion of the show is brought to you by Grind City Brewing and my favorite new beer. And that, is Tiger Tail, the official craft beer of the University of Memphis. It is a craft malt liquor, to be exact. Used to be you could only get it at the Grind City Brewery, or you could get it at some spirit shops after a while because it caught on. Now people like this malt liquor so much, you can get it in Kroger. It comes in 16-ounce six-packs. It's not your grandfather or even your father's malt liquor, I promise. It's crafted with a bold and smooth flavor. It's got this wonderful finish. It makes it so easy drinking. It does have 7.5% alcohol, so be careful. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing. Go to Kroger. You'll get it there. They're taking care of beerness in Memphis. Back with our third hour, we will introduce to you Evan Stockton, the new voice of the Memphis Redbirds. He comes your way in a minute.
Whether you're driving for distance, pitching for precision, or putting to win it all, come to Edwin Watts Golf Shop to get custom fit for all your clubs throughout your bag. Hit a few balls and let our team show you the latest swing technology and data that will help optimize your game. Having each club tailored to become your gamers will help you start shooting lower scores. Let Edwin Watts Golf Shops help you make every shot the perfect one. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Mid-South Hobbies has your favorite model airplanes, boats, race cars, and trains to build. With brands you know like Lionel, LGB, and a large selection of Traxxas radio-controlled trucks, cars, and boats. Mid-South Hobbies has all the accessories to make them complete, with thousands of paint colors to make them shine. Reach the sky with rockets and kites, or reach deep into your imagination with action figures, comic book superheroes, and fantasy quest games. Get passionate about your hobby at Mid-South Hobbies. 4862 Summer Avenue, open 7 days a week. Call 901-682-9402.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day, group play, and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Hey, I heard that you just got a new car.
Yes, I sure did, and I could not believe how simple it was.
Really? Tell me what happened.
I bought my car at Cars Inc. They are family owned, and the choices of cars were the best I've ever seen. They even said they could price match with anyone and help me with whatever financing I needed.
Wow, it does sound like they know what they are doing.
Their family has been in the car business for over 30 years, and they're excited about being in Memphis.
Where are they?
5095 Cummington Way, and their phone number is 901-623-7180.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Final hour on this Wednesday afternoon. The new voice of the Memphis Redbirds will join us after I tell you about the title sponsor this hour, DeSoto Auto Sales. Evan Stockton will join us momentarily as a perfect game's going in the bigs today. I hope he gets to call a perfecto at some point this year at 3rd and Union, or even a no-hitter. DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road at 5704 Goodman Road. Go online and check them out and look at all the beautiful cars at DeSotoAutoSales.com. They're very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. Kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, down-home environment, no high-pressure sales, but at DeSoto Auto Sales, they care about your time, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. You walk in, within 45 minutes, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're gone in less than 45 minutes in time to do it over your busy lunch hour, or like right now, right after work, in time to get to AutoZone Park for the Redbirds tonight. Unlimited inventory, every car checked out, bumper to bumper. And if it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you. DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Online at DeSotoAutoSales.com, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County to DeSoto Auto Sales for that town and country experience.
They go to the bottom of the 9th in Seattle, and the O's have a perfect game. Poor Drew. He is sitting there. He is nervous. He is so nervous.
Grind City right there in the studio.
Are you going
Sweating a bit.
Make it through here? Well, we'll keep an eye on that for sure. In the meantime, baseball is on top of the docket. We've got to welcome a new voice to the city of Memphis. He comes from originally the suburbs of Detroit, but like so many great sportscasters, he went to Syracuse, and now he has found his way here. We welcome Evan Stockton. So what's it like? Is this your first minor league gig, Evan? Congratulations.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. I also appreciate you mentioning someday wanting to call a perfect game. By the way, you guys do know you're not supposed to mention that a perfect game is happening while a perfect game is happening.
That's what I said,
so
Evan.
They can't hear us in Seattle. I promise. They cannot.
That's
not
true,
even a gale or a hurricane could get this signal there.
Okay, all right. Well, if it, you know what, if it's busted, please direct all angry tweets toward you guys and not to me. You mentioned it on me. I just want to make sure that's on the record. Anyway, no, this is not my first minor league baseball gig. I actually started doing minor league baseball games when I was still in college before my senior year. At Syracuse, I worked for the Auburn Doubledays, the short season affiliate of the Washington Nationals. Unfortunately, with the restructuring here of minor league ball, the Auburn Doubledays are no longer affiliated. But I was there in 2017. The summer before that, I worked in the Cape Cod Baseball League, which, to give you the very quick cliff notes, if you want to be a Major League Baseball player and you go to a college across America, you go play in the Cape when you're a freshman or sophomore in college. So I worked there a summer. 2019, I was with the Padres single-A affiliate in Fort Wayne, the Tin Caps, and then before COVID happened, I was supposed to be part of the broadcast team for the Syracuse Mets, the New York Mets AAA affiliate. COVID happened, and then I found out in February I couldn't go back to Syracuse, and within a couple of weeks, I was offered the lead job here in Memphis. So kind of like the world we're living in, you take this thing day by day, and stuff can change quickly, but I'm really happy to be here. I'm sitting in a press box. The sun is shining. Guys are taking BP. We are going to have a baseball game here tonight. So I can't complain.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Heck yeah. And we're glad to have you. And you know, I'm sure you've been told this, but you're gonna do oh so well. Big shoes with Tom Stalker preceding Steve Selby, and now handed off to you, Evan Stockton. We're glad to have you. What'd you think last night? What'd you think of the ballpark? What'd you think of the vibe? No, you had to wait it out a while, and it was kind of a wild game, 7-5 finish. But what'd you think of everything at Third and Union?
Well, I'm glad you guys brought up the names before me. I haven't had the chance to speak with Tom yet, but I have met and talked to Steve, and he couldn't have been more gracious with his time and helping me in this process as we transfer from one way to another. Special thank you to Steve for all the help he's had. I think my feelings, guys, last night of being here at the ballpark was what everyone's feelings were here. We're just so happy this is happening. And I know we had to wait a couple more hours because of all that rain we got last night, but yeah, I just think everybody here, from the folks on our front office staff here at the Redbirds all the way down to the players on the field, this hasn't happened here in Memphis for nearly 600 days. So the fact that we're having baseball here again nearly every single day this summer, guys across all of America who are not major leaguers yet, who are minor leaguers, getting the chance to play the game they love again, I just think there's a whole sense around here of, look, this is not 100% normal. Like me as a broadcaster, I can't go down to the batting cage and talk to the guys on batting practice. I still have to do things on Zoom and stuff like that. But you know what? We're getting closer to normal. Everyone's really excited about it. And, yeah, again, we're just all really happy that we are at least to this point.
Johnny Means, by the way, has just struck out Sam Haggerty. There are 2 outs.
He's done it.
It's over. It's over. He's done it.
Wow.
We take that, Evan. We didn't jinx him, so we get all the credit. We've got champagne going.
Yeah.
We're spraying champagne around.
All right. I love it. I'm always a fan of a little champagne at 5 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Man. So we're either getting home runs or strikeouts and perfect games and no-hitters this year. That, I can tell, is going to be the theme. Give me your impressions of this St. Louis Cardinal AAA team. What's good? What's not so good? What do you expect?
The pitching's incredible, guys. 3 of the top pitching prospects in the system are here. Matthew Liberatore is scheduled to start later on in this series for the Redbirds. All Memphis Redbirds fans here in the area remember back in 2019 when the team was last here and playing, Randy Arozarena was part of the team. Now, of course, he's one of the rising stars in the game. He had one of the more memorable plays of last year's World Series. Matthew Liberatore was basically the piece that came back in replacement for Randy Arozarena. And Matthew has talked to the local media here. He said, look, I know that people are going to compare me to Randy Arozarena. Quite frankly, I don't care. I'm going to do the best job I possibly can and continue to try to get to where I want to be up with the big club in St. Louis. And also, you know, obviously you talk about Matthew Liberatore, but there are also some other really, really good names among this pitching staff. Zach Thompson is one of them. He is slated to start later in this series as well. Former Cards first-round pick out of Kentucky. So that's the thing we're going to be focusing on, not just as we start this season, but throughout the summer months. The pitching on this Redbirds team is awesome, and I think a lot of future pieces of that starting 5 for the pitching, if you will, for the St. Louis Cardinals. They're here in Memphis this summer, so come out and watch them while you can because it's going to be fun to have them here.
And I sure don't want to get you embroiled in a controversy before your second game with the general manager in St. Louis with the Brass, with John Mozeliak. So my words, not yours, Evan, with all that young pitching and with the young, really deep pitching and deep bullpen in St. Louis, I'm a Cardinals fan. Dave's a Cubs fan, and I was kidding with him, but it's out there in the rumor mill of a potential Chris Bryant to St. Louis for some of that young pitching. When you have, now kind of in the general, when you have young pitching, it makes people call you on potential deals, doesn't it?
It does 100%. Are you trying to tell me that the Chicago Cubs are going to trade one of their best players to their arch rival? That's like the Yankees and Red Sox doing business. I'm from Michigan. That's like
times
Michigan
are tough in
Ohio
Chicago.
There was a trade a long time ago that made Lou Brock, one of my childhood heroes, a St. Louis Cardinal, for a dead-arm pitcher named Ernie Broglio. So we've got one coming. I think the Cubs have done a very poor job of taking care of Chris Bryant, or for that matter, Anthony Rizzo, if he were to go, because he's become the face and the heart and soul of that franchise, much the same way Ryan Sandberg did for a while, the same way that Ernie Banks did before that. So I don't know what the Ricketts are doing. I'm not a real fan of the way they're going about undoing a team that never lived up to all the promise that we thought after they did win that World Series over Cleveland a few years ago, but only one. You would have thought there would be more. But we want to talk to you about the Cardinals on the offensive side. Tell me about what I'll really want to see from from this team at AutoZone Park.
Okay, so last night, Max Moroff, who is a little bit of your prototypical 4A guy, he spent some time in the major league, but he's one of those guys that kind of goes back and forth between AAA and the major league level. Max was awesome last night. He went 3 for 3, a homer, couple of doubles, 3 runs scored. So he was the highlighter last night. I'm a guy who likes to do a little bit of everything in his broadcasting career, so allow me this. You guys know the name Kim Mulkey, right? The women's basketball coach who was at Baylor, now LSU.
Yeah.
Her son Kramer Robertson is on
the
Memphis. Yeah, her son Kramer is on the Memphis Redbirds this year. He was on base a couple of times last night with a couple of walks. I don't think Kramer's mom is listening. Mrs. Mulkey, if you want to donate a few bucks to the Memphis Redbirds Broadcaster Fund at some time this year, we're not going to tell you no. But yeah, Kramer Robertson is a really great story. He was at the bottom of the lineup last night, and he's going to be one of those guys who he'll recycle the order for the Redbirds this summer, if you will. In that 9th spot, he's going to get on base. He's going to make some things happen. So that's someone I've got my eye on as well. And Max Moroff is a guy who has some big league experience, and last night he sure showed it. And what a great game he had.
I can't wait to see him tonight. I'm gonna stop by and watch a few innings. I want to see
good deal, Dave.
The Mulkey kid in particular.
Yeah, Kramer Robinson. His defense was great. He's having a little trouble. He had a little trouble hitting here 2 years ago. The defense is big league ready. So you got the young pitching. You got the difference. The different scheduling now. Everything all summer is going to be Tuesday through Sunday. You'll be at home a week. You'll be off a week. Home a week. Off a week. Evan, I thought it was time for minor league baseball to make these adjustments and have it this way, and it just makes a lot of sense, especially coming out of the nightmare of last year.
100%. I think we're all wondering, guys, if this is going to be the norm going forward, or if this just is a COVID thing. Me personally, I'd love it for it to be the norm. It gives me a designated golf Monday throughout the summer, so I would absolutely love that and give me a guaranteed day to decompress from the rigors of a baseball season every single day for 5 or 6 months. But, who knows? I think there's a lot of things, not just in sports, but in life, we're learning through the pandemic that, hey, maybe the way we did it before doesn't have to be the way. There's no need to hop on a plane and fly all the way to Omaha, Nebraska for a couple of days. We can have somebody here for a week. We can try to make it more regionally based in terms of the schedule. So I think that is what they're going to do going forward. And I know Major League Baseball, since they've kind of taken over running minor league baseball, they're just trying to, as best they can, streamline what minor league baseball should be for the players and coaches specifically. We've got to make it as easy and as best possible as we can to get these guys to the major league level and develop them to get to their parent club. So that's what they're trying to do with the reduced travel. And again, look, if it gives me a designated day every single day of the week to golf, I'm not going to complain. So there's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and I guess that designated day is going to be Monday. Every series will be a 6-game series, so Durham is here for 4 more games after tonight. Is each series just, or I should say, is each homestand just the 1 week and then you hit the road, or will there be 2 weeks you'd be stringing together?
See, that's a great question. I apologize not knowing every single detail off the top of my head. I believe we got 1 or 2 homestands, maybe of a couple of weeks. I do know next week we are at Nashville, which is going to be very interesting because after the first 3 games of the series, Nashville's going 100% full capacity in the stand. So that's going to be something that me personally in my broadcasting over the past year, I have not done a game with 100% potential full capacity. So that's going to be interesting for me to see for the first time in a long, long time. But we do have a 2-week road trip to the Midwest in June scheduled for Toledo and Indianapolis, which is actually, if my memory holds right, the only series we will have outside of the new Southeast Division in the AAA East this year. So, yeah, there will be a couple of series that go 2 weeks long, home or road, but the norm is usually going to be here 1 week at home, 1 week on the road.
And are you getting to go as the broadcaster to the series in Nashville? Will you be traveling with the team?
Outstanding question. I don't know. We're still taking it day by day here, as is everybody in the minor leagues. And for example, this week, Durham did not send a broadcaster on the road. As you guys probably know, the duties of a minor league baseball broadcaster are not just limited to calling the game. I wish they were. Part of my duties today were making sure that Durham had local noise here from the crowd and the crack of the bat so they could send it back to their radio station in North Carolina. So I don't know if I'll be in Nashville next week. I sure hope to be. Part of the fun of a baseball season is you're traveling all across America. The bus rides aren't fun. Finally getting to the destination certainly is. But, yeah, we're going to take this thing on a day-by-day, series-by-series basis. And I think all of us in minor league baseball are hopeful as we get to July, August, the roundup of the season in September, we're traveling again and doing things pretty close to normal.
Evan, tell us about that class at that famed broadcast journalism school, truly the gold standard at Syracuse. Tell us about that class where this is all the different hats you're going to have to wear coming out of a global pandemic.
I wish they had that class. I wish I felt like the tuition money was devoted more towards that, guys. So, I mean, when you are in school, what Syracuse does preach to you, not just all kidding aside, that the curriculum's outstanding, and all the alumni. I won't name them all because I'm going to forget somebody and somebody will get upset. But the alumni are very, very helpful. The curriculum is very, very helpful. But what Syracuse does while you're a student, which was really important to me as I ventured into it professionally, is Syracuse, when you're at school, says, look, we can only teach you so much in the classroom. Go get an internship. Go work at the student radio or TV station because you've got to go do this stuff and you've got to make a few mistakes to realize when you get in the real world, hey, I need to do this, I don't need to do this, and when I inevitably make a mistake, this is how I fix it. So that's why it was really important for me in college to work a couple of years of organized baseball, whether it be summer collegiate or the lower levels of the minor leagues. So when you get out in the real world, whenever you're starting a new job, whenever you're moving to any new place for a period of time, there's going to be a bit of an adjustment. There's going to be some things you got to learn on the fly. But if you can try to limit those or at least know how you've got to learn things on the fly, that's really important. And that's what Syracuse teaches everyone who goes to the Newhouse School is go do this for real because that's the only really way you can learn how to do it.
You grew up in Detroit, so are you a Tigers fan?
I am. Now, it's been tough to be a Tigers fan, guys, the past few years. Growing up, I mean, we had Miguel Cabrera, Justin Verlander. See how I said we there? I guess I haven't entirely slipped out of the Tigers fandom 100%. But
that's
growing
okay.
up, the Tigers had Miguel Cabrera. They had Justin Verlander. They had Prince Fielder for a couple of years. They were a World Series contender year after year. Being a Detroit sports fan has been really tough for the past few years. The Red Wings are rebuilding. For years, they were the best organization in professional hockey. The Pistons are rebuilding. The
Forever.
Tigers rebuild is not going as planned. Yeah, they have been rebuilding for forever. Speaking of rebuilding for forever, our NFL team is also the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
So it's been a really tough stretch the past few years in Detroit, but I did grow up a Tiger fan. I did grow up being upset when the Cardinals upset the Tigers at the 2006 World Series, but it's water under the bridge now, and I'm really excited to be part of the Cardinals organization because if it's not on your top 3 list of major league organizations in terms of historical importance and how they run the organization, it's not a right list.
Huh.
Yeah, in that year, Evan, just down the stretch, everything broke the Cardinals. We had a real great start, bunch of injuries, finished pretty strong. Finished oddly, didn't play a full 162. Finished 83-78. Got hot, and then in that World Series, heck, the Tigers couldn't field the ball on the infield.
You're breaking this to me like it's new news. I was watching the games. I do remember all of this, guys. You're bringing back.
Yeah.
Putting salt in the wound before I got to go on live radio in an hour and a half, guys. What the heck?
You learned from Ernie Harwell. Is that the guy you grew up listening to?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, I remember my parents putting on Ernie Harwell in the car when we would drive around Metro Detroit growing up, and they would just be so focused on this older gentleman calling the baseball game. And I was, I'm 5, 6, 7 years old, and I was going, oh, what's going on here? And then I remembered when Ernie Harwell passed away, I think he was 92, 93 years old, passed away when I was about 14 years old. And I'll never forget this, guys, as long as I live. There was a line at Comerica Park where the Tigers play in downtown Detroit. There was a line all the way around multiple blocks to see his viewing at Comerica Park. It was unbelievable, the impact he had on the community, on the state of Michigan. Every single person, bar none, whether they are a baseball fan or not, if they're of a certain age in Michigan, they will tell stories of putting on Ernie Harwell in the background as they fell asleep listening to him call a game in Los Angeles, or when they were up at the cabin in northern Michigan in the summertime as the Tigers played the Minnesota Twins. And that's why I love doing baseball on the radio, is because more than anything else, more than any other sport, you're with these folks every single night in the summertime. And you can build a unique connection that I don't know if you can do in the other sports, and I certainly know you can't do on a national level with an ESPN or a Fox. So having Ernie Harwell as an influence as a little kid, that's why I love doing baseball, because it gives you a really unique opportunity to get create a connection with the community that you just can't really do with the other sports, just with the way the schedule's set up and how the system goes.
He was a classy guy. I remember him coming through here. He was on this show 1 or 2 times, and one time live from Tim McCarver Stadium, and just a true gentleman. So you had a good teacher, and obviously you had great training at Syracuse. I look forward to hearing your work over the internet, at least for now, and let us know whenever anything else breaks. It's been a pleasure getting to have you on the air with us.
Absolutely, guys. Really appreciate your time. If you want to listen tonight, you can find us on the MILB First Pitch app. You can go to MILB.tv to watch, and there's still tickets available. So if you want to come, we'd love to see you. Go to MemphisRedbirds.com. Hope to see a few of you at the ballpark tonight. It's a beautiful night on Cinco de Mayo, and we're selling $5 margaritas, okay? What else would you rather be doing on a Wednesday?
That's pretty cool.
Good deal.
And it's MILB.com. Is that what I heard you say?
MILB.tv. That's where you can watch every single one of our games live. Yep.
Okay. We got it. Thank you so
Great
much.
job.
Good luck to you. Welcome to Memphis.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. That is the newest voice around town. You just heard Evan Stockton. He's brought to you in part by Edwin Watts Golf. He's talking about playing on Mondays. He'll find out about the Miramichis or the public links around here, and he'll want to go stock up on golf balls, on everything at Edwin Watts. That's where everybody goes for their golf equipment. That's where they go for their clothes. That's where everybody kind of hangs out, right there at this. It's not such a new home anymore. Right there at 240 and Poplar Avenue. You know where it is. It's called the Ridgeway Trace Shopping Center. Been there for a while. It is a beautiful place. And they're going to have a tailor-made fitting day a week from today, next Wednesday, from 10 until 4 in the store. So come try the new Sim2 product. In fact, you can even get on the computer. You know now that they are doing club fitting. If you buy the clubs there, it's free. You get fitting, and we've had discussions about this now on a couple of shows. Fitting is important to fit your body type with the right loft, the right lie, the right shaft, everything. And they will do that for you at Edwin Watts. So you want your game to be really top-notch with equipment or apparel. You want the inside on every new little gizmo like the Bushnell or GPS. There's only one place to go. It's Edwin Watts. I think I was wrong. I said that was a perfect game.
It was a no-hitter.
It was just a no-hitter.
And the way he lost it is called a swinging third strike that was ruled a wild pitch and the base runner reached. Who was then got caught stealing like the next batter up.
So it was only 27 up and 27 down.
27 up, 27 down, but it's a no-hitter.
But it is a no-hitter because there was
But not the first perfect game in Orioles history. Golly, what a way to lose it. But, I mean, you can't be too mad, can you?
Well, that's the second perfect game that's been lost this year, and both pitchers got no-hitters.
How many more no-nos this year?
I think we're going to have several.
What's the over and under?
What's
I do
the
too,
record?
Dave.
What is the record?
Because
is it like
John Varlas texted us that a few weeks ago, and I think it was
7?
6 or 7.
I think it was 7.
Yeah. I think it was 7 that John sent us, and
I think that'll get beaten.
And the approach is the reason these guys are up there wailing. They're not trying to break up a no hitter. No. They're trying to hit one 500 feet.
Well, we had this discussion with Tim Doolin a few weeks ago, and Major League Baseball players want to get paid. Home runs are the ticket
I don't blame
to
them.
getting paid now, and the coaches have gone along with all of this because honestly, Brett. They absolutely want you to swing up. Their launch angle,
Richie Ashburn
as they
couldn't
call
play
it.
today, Dave.
No. Louis Aparicio couldn't play today.
Huh? Bill Mazeroski couldn't, and he had a famous home run. There's probably no place in the game for him now.
No, and that part of it is sad. But we do.
I mentioned Wally Backman earlier. He was a table setter.
Yeah, 2 no-hitters. Well, Ozzie Smith might not have even had a chance when he first came up because he couldn't hit a lick. He became a better hitter as time went on. But we got our second no-hitter. So I'm going over. I think if the over-under is 7 for the most of the year, I think we're going over.
Drew?
I'll go over as well.
That dooms it.
Group lock.
Yeah. Group
had
locks.
such success with that with football picks.
We are like 30% in group locks over history here. With all sports, just awful. But maybe worth turning the corner. I mean, if you think about this, you've already got 2, and we're just in the first week of May.
I think we have 3, don't we?
Well, we have the White Sox. We have this
the Padres.
Oh, the Padres, their first one ever. You're right. We have 3 already.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a done deal. 3. And they've only played basically a month. That's definite. I feel good about that. Almost as good as you'll feel if you go to see my friends at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai, what a place. Same crew, they sell both. 13 years they have been together. And they've got the formula down. First of all, they got the product. Every new car, Hyundai or Genesis, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So you know it's durable. You know it's going to last forever. You know it's safe. The Hyundais, 2 years in a row now, have been decreed, and I don't know how they do the formula, but it's the safest car on the planet. Tied with another company, but safest car on the planet. So roomy and so high performance. The Elantra, the Sonata, the Santa Fe, which may be the most popular car in all of America. A big SUV that is, well, it's just so comfortable and it rides like a sedan on the road. I promise you will absolutely love everything about it. And you know they'll take care of you at Homer Skelton Hyundai because you get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on the house. Every new car, including the Genesis cars, you get that For 3 years, they change your oil, they rotate your tires, they take care of you. So many reasons why you want to get on Lamar, Highway 78, when you get to Mississippi, in the very first exits, Craft Road. It's 10 to 15 minutes from everywhere. You make that left, and you'll see Chris True and all the gang at Homer, Skelton Hyundai, and Genesis of Olive Branch. Back in just a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
If ever there was a time for comfort food, this is it. And there's no comfort food like Sunrise on Jefferson. Fresh-made breakfast featuring Sunrise's signature homemade square biscuits or the huge selection of hot, fresh, and fast lunch items are all part of what has always made Sunrise the most comforting of comfort foods in Memphis. Of course, everything that can be done to keep you and the staff safe at Sunrise is a top priority. And you can always order ahead and get delicious Sunrise to go. At a time this confusing, it's good to know there's one thing you can count on: Sunrise.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County. Get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. We should congratulate John Ganazzo, the former commercial appeal. I guess jack of all trades for the commercial appeal, but he's been the head of the stats crews for Mid-South Coliseum, for FedEx Forum, for Pyramid, for the Lander Center, when it was the DeSoto County Civic Center. He, last night, began his 50th year as a official scorer for Memphis Professional Baseball.
Legendary.
That is really something else. Think about it. He started in 1971 with the Blues. He went through Tim McCarver Stadium with the Chicks, and now he's been doing the Redbirds. 71 to 2021, J.J. Ganazzo has been doing the books, and that is really special, isn't it? That's something else.
Hope we get a no-hitter at AutoZone Park. I don't think the Redbirds have ever thrown a no-hitter as the Memphis Redbirds.
Huh. I don't know.
I think Lance Lynn had a one-hitter.
You would think with all the
and it's been a while since the last cycle. Mark Little, remember that name?
Sure.
Former Tiger?
Yeah.
Or I think he's the last player to hit for the cycle with the Redbirds. It hadn't been many.
Huh. And, we really haven't mentioned this. We probably need to get him on at some point this season. But the skipper is a Memphis kid, a Germantown High School.
Oh, great
product.
story.
Ben Johnson.
Great story. And,
yeah,
and just a fabulous guy. So it's going to be fun. I'm glad they're getting started. And we mentioned it to Evan. That last year, man, there were nights. It was doing something to me not being able to go to AutoZone Park and go to baseball. It was a nightmare last year, and maybe we're trending in the right direction. You hear the directive from the governor today. We talked about Broadway and 100% real crowds, real everything, September 14th. I see no reason at all that NFL preseason games and college football should be hindered by anything.
Well,
and if you're reluctant to go and you have some hesitancy, that's fine. But I think for the rest of us, double vaxxed and with no inhibition, I think it should be real.
I think it's telling that Nashville next week is going to allow full capacity. Because remember how Nashville has been very conservative in their approach. Their county health department, Davidson County Health Department, they did not allow any hockey fans in at all this year, as I recall.
And sparse at SEC men's basketball, too.
I didn't know that if they let anybody in for SEC basketball. I know the Titans were not allowed any fans in. So they are really going from pretty much nothing all the way to full out going. It is interesting. I wasn't aware of this, and I just got a text, my own personal text, from a fan who wanted to go to the Grizzlies and the Knicks. And he said, and this is the same policy for the Redbirds too, and I didn't know this, but you cannot buy in this day and age a ticket for a game as a single ticket. So in other words, if you want to go to the game, and I was not aware of this, I don't know if you are, but if you wanted to go, say, the Grizzlies and the Knicks play last week, and there were tickets that were available for fans, and I forget what the number is, they're up to 3,500 or 4,000, whatever it may be. But you're not allowed to buy one. You have to buy a minimum of 2 tickets. Same thing for the Redbirds.
I didn't know that. I didn't know everything had to be paired up like that. But we're getting close, and just a little more forbearance, a little more patience, and good and all good practicing.
Yeah.
Of things that we have learned the last year that now commonplace. And again, I'm not retiring the mask. There's going to be times that I'm going to have a mask, but outdoors, if it's not required, I think I'm in good shape. But if it's required, I'm going to put it on. I'm going to follow the rules.
I'm going to go to the Redbirds game tonight, and I'm pretty sure the requirement will be that I'll have to have that mask on, unless I'm drinking something. I would take it off for that, but otherwise I am not.
You'll probably be in the Tiger Tail at some point tonight, won't you?
If they sell that at the ballpark, we got a petition for Tiger Tail to be sold at AutoZone Park. We know it's in Kroger's.
You'll be in the Chronic at some point.
Stories today, just to revisit, and we're going to talk tomorrow with the voice of Boise. But there is a tweeter in the Boise area, and I don't know if they got this from 24/7 in Boise or not.
He's going to look real right or real wrong.
That Boise is on the doorstep, I think, is how he worded it. They are on the verge of joining the American. In fact, could be joining the American by July. Wow, that's quick. And on
for
top
play
of that,
for 22,
San Diego State is in the mix with them. There could be as many as 4 teams. 3 seems to make more sense because there are 11 when you count both Wichita State as just basketball and you count Navy as football.
Help me. Where does San Diego State play home football now? Because the Murph, it's done, isn't it?
I don't know. Isn't the Murph still where the Padres play, or did they move?
No. They're downtown, glitzy Petco.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Where does San Diego State play their home football games? Drew is really
he is
picking this thing up.
Sorry, Drew.
They play at Aztec Stadium, apparently.
What does that seat? Does it say?
Give me a second.
I think I've seen that ballpark, actually, now that he says that. What, 40s?
35. 35.
35? Okay.
Dave, there's your Torrey Pines trip.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. And, it's a public course.
And if you're really fortunate, I know this may knock you out of playing, but you could be out there for a Tigers game, say on Saturday night, and go to the tournament at Torrey Pines early that day in that February time period during college basketball. This really could work out.
How about Boise? I mean, if it works out right, I can go to Boise and I can ski.
Yeah, Dave, I just see. I mean, Steamboat days are over. I just see something that could go terribly wrong.
That's why I'm seeing Tommy Gerber. I'm getting back in shape. I want to do all these things. You remember Fred Cook, the great voice who was the GA announcer in the Mid-South Coliseum? Fred was in his 70s. He was not a physical specimen by any means.
Nor are you.
Fred, nor am I. Fred was skiing into his 70s. I am going to tell you, my fitness level is good enough to ski.
I bet you could. And did you go out with the Tigers to Boise for the late 80s NCAA tournament game out there?
I did. Yes.
And I think the NCAA took all of y'all snow skiing, didn't they?
They did. That was a lot of fun. I learned there were a lot of good times on that trip, really. That was when the coaching staff was really close with all of us. And Paul Hartledge was on that trip. Tim Morgan's wife, Maureen Morgan, who now lives in Cincinnati, she was on that trip. Everybody was just having a good time. It was the right age for all of us, and everybody was giddy over the Tiger team. And Boise is a cool place. If you've never been to Boise, Idaho, folks, it's got the blue field, but it's got a lot more. It is a resort town. I'll tell you another guy who ended up retiring there from Memphis was one of the great sportsmen of this town, who lived in this town, coached in this town, promoted in this town for 40 years. You know what I'm talking about, Tommy Buford. And Tommy, unfortunately, passed away a couple of years in Boise. But,
he fell in love with it and always said that's where he was going to get for the golden years, and he did.
He did. Tommy did a lot of good things his way, I mean, he loved his sport.
He was laser focused, wasn't he?
He was. I never seen, and in that week, I would bet you, in the week of the tennis tournament, Tommy Buford slept a total, so that's 7 nights, right? I'm going to say he slept a total of 21 hours. I don't think he slept more than 3 hours a night. He was amazing.
He ever present, in charge, list of lists, had that ubiquitous clipboard kind of with everything under it, and really was organized man and fun.
And treated the players like gods. That's why we got
they loved
all
him.
These great
That's how he got them. Yeah.
He couldn't pay them, but he could kill them with kindness and courtesy cars and hotel rooms or houses to stay.
Food.
And food and first-class feelings. And they put on a show for him. He truly was a great guy. And I'll be honest with you, we're talking about opening days and everything else. Of all the things that have gone away in sports in Memphis, from soccer teams to you name it, football teams that went away like the Showboats. I think that tennis tournament, and I love the Showboats, I think losing that tennis tournament is a real void in my sports spirit.
Yeah, it did something. It's been a big February loss.
It is. It really has. This portion of the program is brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, the tune-up. They'll come out now, and it's going to get hot. You got to get your tune-up for your air conditioning system if you want it to run efficiently this summer. And by the way, if you tune them up and they run efficiently, they last a lot longer. And John does a $69 check with a Freon leak check. I mean, it's a 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up that's like taking your air conditioning system to a car wash. He does all of that with this new thing, the Freon leak check, for all of $69. So if you've got an air conditioner that has ever leaked any Freon, and you know that's a bad thing, please have it checked. And now they do that with the Super Tune-Up. And there's one little thing they've added to. They will treat to protect your outside unit from that hot Memphis sun. They're going to put a special Teflon coating on to help make sure everything runs smoothly. All you got to do is make the call, 384-3511. They'll come out. If you do it in the next week or so, you might get this thing for $57. I got to talk them into doing it for $56. But it's $57 if you call right now, 384-3511, the Super Tune-Up and the Freon leak check, all from Conway Services.
No-hitter in Seattle today, the Orioles 6-zip. John Means, who had that this year in the pool for no-hitters, he gets the Orioles no-hitter, not a perfect game. 1-zip, the final in Cincinnati. The Reds defeat the Southsiders 1-zip, two-hitter by the Reds pitching staff there. The Cardinals lead 2-1 in the first of two at Busch Stadium between the Cardinals and Mets. First rain out of the year last night for the Cardinals, and they have the Mets right now and another one. So a long day, afternoon and night of baseball in St. Louis for the Cardinals and Mets. Look, I know you're thinking about something to eat right now for dinner time, and I got the perfect place. I got the perfect places. Jason's Deli, locations on Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch and Cordova. Healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. We're into health now. After this last year, it's taught us a lot about it. Jason's Deli was ahead of this a long time ago. Jason's Deli, all about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you would like to invent your sandwich via the Build Your Own, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. Again, any of these great locations, Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. The salad bar, it never went away, but now it's back to normal. You can prepare your own. Over 30 items to choose from, plenty of organic food to choose from. Catering anytime, anywhere, and we're going to get the catering business back hopping like it should be at Jason's Deli. And all the locations at the restaurants, free ice cream, complimentary in the locations. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com. When we come back, we wrap up this Wednesday afternoon. We do it with Taco Bell Crunch Time. You're listening to Sports Time on Sports 56.
You have opinions.
Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
We want to hear them. Call the First Bank phone line at 360-8255 or text us on the First Bank text line at 70236.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Don't miss 20 seasons of Grizzlies basketball in Memphis. Limited single-game tickets for all second-half games are on sale now. Tickets start at just $12, but they won't last long. Check out grizzlies.com/tickets today.
No one outfits golfers better than Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been fitting golfers since 1968. Utilizing cutting-edge fitting technology, we'll analyze your swing and our 4-sight launch monitors and fit you with the perfect club, pair of shoes, the latest golf apparel, golf balls, bags, and more. So come by today for your complete custom fitting. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, Or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut. Or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, how many did we hit?
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
Boop! Get you!
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
On one, on two, on three. Hey!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Learned a couple of things from baseball. Learned, frankly, Drew, who in the heck John Means was. I really couldn't have provided a whole lot of info before about 5 o'clock on John Means. Also, at Baseball Reference, they track the number constantly of players that have appeared in the show. Going into today, 19,976. Now, 24 aren't going to play tonight, but sometimes in about the next week, player number 20,000 to appear in the show, and also the news of the Dunedin Blue Jays moving back to Buffalo, hopefully someday to get back to Toronto. What'd you learn today?
Well, I just learned how much of a cloud nine you can actually be on when your team throws a no-hitter, first individual no-hitter since Jim Palmer did it against the A's back in 1969. 52 years ago is the longest streak or drought for a franchise without a no-hitter, an individual no-hitter in Major League Baseball. And John Means, I mean, there isn't a better guy out there. Just his post-game interview, too, just talking about how much his family means to him.
He's 4-0 now.
Yeah, how much his dad, he really wished his dad would have been there to see it, was great. And for one, when you're a team that nobody expects to do well, a team that people basically laugh at, it's good to have something to celebrate. And heck, 15-16 right now, I think we're better off than 99% of baseball experts would have ever projected us at.
Guaranteed.
Right now, at the moment.
Guaranteed. He's 4-0 with a 1.37 ERA. Now all the cool kids tell us none of those things matter anymore. It matters. It mattered today. Could have done without all the lights going out in sports without me there. Happened on Monday night at Busch Stadium. The lights go out. Last night in New Orleans at the Dubs Pelicans. I think I was at the most famous lights out at Super Bowl 47 when your Ravens defeated the 49ers, and my mother was convinced it was a terrorist attack getting ready to hit New Orleans. She had my oldest nephew text me. She said, "Grandmother says to get out of there now. Get out of there now." I said, "There's not anything going on." Also was at the Pyramid in an SEC tournament in '94 when the lights went out during the afternoon session one day, either Thursday or Friday. What is it you could have done without?
Well, just real quick, light story out. I was at the FedEx Forum when the Ole Miss Memphis basketball game got delayed by, I believe, 2 hours
Friday
a few
night
years
game
ago.
In 2015. Sure did. I missed that one. What are they doing all these lights out games without me?
I don't know. They need to call you ahead of time. But what I could do without is the fact that this Golf Super League thing is still technically a story, with Phil Mickelson being the only person that even is somewhat
keeping the story alive,
keeping it alive and publicly open for it. just because they're offering him so much money. I mean, you can't blame him, but can we just stop with the Super Leagues? It's not going to work. Nobody is going to be 100% on page for it. The fans aren't going to like it. You're just going to create more turmoil, and definitely for some of these businessmen, players, owners, you're just creating more enemies.
And I didn't know that the PGA Tour was broken. I didn't know that the Premier League was broken. I think if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. And I threw this out the other day. I know everybody look. I do too, but no, I don't. I'm not one of them. I don't need more. I got it very good. I got it very, very good. And these athletes and these people that just constantly have to have more. I don't get it because I'm very, very comfortable. What are you keeping a close eye on tonight?
Well, going to keep a close eye, I guess, down at the ballpark at 3rd and Union for the Redbirds in their second game. Also going to keep an eye on the Grizzlies tonight up in Minnesota. And a very important game tonight on the ice as the oh, goodness
it
gracious.
Is?
Yeah, the Predators.
It
Predators
is.
taking on the Columbia Blue Jackets. Only 3 games left in the season. Preds do have a 3-point lead over the Dallas Stars for the final playoff spot in their division. But anything can happen with only 3 games left to go.
Yeah, I need somebody to explain to me the playoffs and explain to me who actually – I don't understand the divisions this year.
I can't do it verbally. But if you let me draw you out a chart, I can draw it out. I know how they work. I just can't verbally tell you how they work.
I'll take Etch-a-Sketch. I'll take anything. But we'll have to do our hockey bracket at some point, won't we? When do the playoffs start for the hockey?
Well,
next week?
No, actually it won't start until around the 25th, I do believe, just due to the fact that the Vancouver Canucks had
we got to get them finished.
They had a close to a month off, so they don't finish up their regular season until the 19th. Now, they are completely out of the playoff picture, but they still got to get all their games.
It factors in.
Yes.
I'm going to keep a close eye on that Grizzlies-Minnesota game. Also going to keep a ear on the Redbirds tonight. And Evan Stockton, great to have him in town. Sounded so exciting. Wish him well. Hope he has a 60-year broadcasting career and goes to the very top of the business. And glad to have him in that perch that Tom Stalker and Steve Selby that they have been so good in, and he will do the same. I'll keep an ear on that. We know what a loss would do tonight for the Grizzlies, and we know a win would calm some nerves, and there are a lot of nerves in Grizzlies world. Spurs in Utah, the Jazz battling for the 1 seed, the Spurs clinging to that zany 10 seed. First of 2 going on in St. Louis right now. The second game will start about 30 minutes after the first one's completed. Astros, they continue their adventure at Yankee Stadium, lustily booed last night. The Yankee Stadium crowd, they're not going to forget boos, catcalls, derision, and the Bronx treatment. Look, you knew the Astros would get it. Last year it got delayed, not this year. Dodgers at Cubs. What happened to the Dodgers on their way to 120 wins? They've hit a tough patch. And the Jays at the A's late. We'll keep an eye on all of it, and we'll be back tomorrow to talk about it all. I want to thank TJ Reeves, John Gowen, Rick Harrow, and Evan Stockton, the voice of the Memphis Redbirds, for being with us today. For Dave, for Drew, I'm Brett. Be back with us tomorrow at 3. You've been listening to Sports Time on Sports 56.